So the whole idea of this today's training is we are going to understand in this current market what the different job skills the people are demanding, right? So, and accordingly we can fit in, right, ourselves into their requirement, right? Okay. Now I'll definitely introduce myself, but before that I'll talk to you. So anyone who is very new to this, I see count almost 32 people there. So anyone who is very new, I'm hoping that you guys are already aware of what is this Power Platform and you have spent a lot of time in learning it, right? So I'm going to tell you something, very generic start with. Um, so there is a term called Power Platform, right? Now, this is a very fancy term, very demanding term in now Power Platform. Sorry. Okay. Look, so before I go and tell you Power Platform, look, we'll have to understand the ecosystem of this Power Platform. Where is this coming from, right? Now, there is a term called Microsoft 365, right? So what is a Microsoft 365? It is an ecosystem of application. It's a cloud-based application. So, you know, what Microsoft has done, they have the bunch of products, like they have the Microsoft 365, one product. They are having a Dynamic 365 as one product, right? And under those products, we are having different suite of applications, right? Now, let's say we are talking about the Microsoft 365. So just think like an ecosystem or think like an umbrella. Under this umbrella, there are different apps, right? Let's list down some of the apps, right? So let's say I'm just writing, there is a one app called SharePoint. There is a one app called MS Word. You all are aware of it, right? That's- Then there is an app called MS PowerPoint, right? MS Excel, MS Excel, and then you can just write MS Forms, right? You go and write,
Right,
let's say,
Rahul. It
Outlook.
seems like a little low voice. I'm not sure it's for me or everyone. Guys, voice is fine, right?
Can you guys hear me? Can you acknowledge, please, everyone?
Yeah, a little bit low.
Little bit low. All
Little
right.
low.
Okay. Um, okay. Okay, let me change my headset. I think I'm using condenser mic right now, so
No, it's perfect.
perfect. Okay, you can hear me? All right. Okay, thanks. All right, now I'll be
That's what
louder,
it
no
seems,
problem.
because your voice is very high pitch only, but maybe it's mic issue, it seems, Rahul.
Oh yeah, maybe
Uh,
Okay, but usually my session Zoom is little. I'm not very good fan of Zoom.
okay.
Being a Microsoft guy, Teams is more superior for me,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's
Usually
okay.
we will use a Teams only for internal meetings, but our regular classes will be it's a Zoom integrated.
Correct,
Only for the
correct, no
placement
problem.
cell and all, we'll use a Teams.
Think,
Rahul, maybe you can keep your mic near to the,
yeah, I
some
changed my mic
collar
now.
rights. Maybe you can fix it.
Can you guys hear me now? I just changed my mic to different
Yeah,
mic.
better than before.
All right, all right. Okay, so this is my
Yeah. Okay.
okay headset mic. All right, now okay. Now see what I'm doing right now. I'm writing the list of skills right under the Microsoft 365 ecosystems. Now definitely we are going to come to the Power Platform. So I'm going to tell you how the Power Platform is going to fit into this ecosystem. Look, I'm talking about the bigger aspect, right? Power Platform is a very small aspect inside this ecosystem, right? Um, Try to understand this complete hierarchy, and I tell you why you should know this, right? And what is the importance of bringing this pattern in front of you, right? And this is definitely going to change your mindset after once I'll cover this, right? So see, Outlook is there. I'm just going to write some more, let's say, Microsoft Teams, of course, that's part of this Microsoft 365 ecosystems. I'm writing Power App again, right? You write Power Automate. Look, everything I'm writing, these are all part of Microsoft 365 ecosystem. I'm writing Power Pages, right? I'm writing Power BI. Uh, there is something called Power Virtual Agents. There is something called Power Virtual Agents, right? Now this is called Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio, right? There are plenty of, there are maybe 50, 60 apps like this, right? I'm writing most popular one, right? So
Dataverse.
yes, Dataverse is again, it's not directly part of this ecosystem, but yes, that's a backend. Yes, Dataverse you can write like, yeah. And then there are list goes on. There is Loop and other things also, right? Now try to understand. Usually, okay, maybe where the Power Platform terms coming from, and I'll tell you. Look, if I'll just bring it here, you see what I'm doing right now. I'm just creating a box. This is a Microsoft 365 ecosystem, thing like this. Microsoft 365. Okay. Now, think of this as a complete ecosystem of Microsoft 365. Under this ecosystems, we are having bunch of apps right now. So I was writing those. So let me just bring it. So, okay. So let me just write, okay, a couple of times here. And then I'll tell you, okay. Here we go. We have a pen here. So, okay. You see, and let me write the other one also, which I left. I'll go and copy them. Then I'll write some more. Yeah. Okay. See, I'm writing them here. See, there are many. I'll show you there are many, but these are the set of apps which is resting in the Microsoft 365 ecosystems. Now, what I'm going to do out of these apps, like these are all family members of Microsoft 365. Now, out of these family members, I'm going to pick, okay, let me pick 5 family members. You see what I'm doing right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Out of this big family, maybe there are 50, 60 people are living. I'm just taking 5 family member outside of this family, and I'm making a sub family of this, and I'm calling this as Power Platform family, right? So this is called Power Platform family. You should understand where this is coming from, right? So this is called Power Platform family, right? And most of you are quite aware and good knowledge on this right now. You know what is the Power App, what is the Power Automate, what is the Power Pages, and all right. Now, the whole idea of today's session is I'm going to make you understand what should be your strategy in 2026. We are in May right now, right? We are going to build our career next 5 years, next 10 years, right? How should I prepare my career in context of the current job market, right? Which is not going to die anyway sooner, right? So I should always get a priority in the market in compared to my other colleagues, right? Now, you understand. Now, if I ask you, what is a Power App? Power App is one app inside the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. What is a Power Automate? This is one app inside Microsoft 365 ecosystems. What is a SharePoint? One app, right? Now, this bunch of 5 application, which is having the word power in them. You see, power, power, power. They have that special words power in them, right? So you see, they have been grouped together, and we are calling them as a Power Platform, right? And the good thing about these family members is they are very common in nature in one area, that everyone is a very low code or no code platform, right? Every skills, whatever you are going to learn under this family members, they are very low code and no code platform, right? So they serve different purpose. Power App serves different purpose. Power Automate serves different purpose, right? We'll talk more on them. But most common thing between them is they are very low code or no code platform, right? So low code and no code platform is, I mean, this is how initially this was introduced. But right now there is a contradiction. The Power Platform is not only low code platform. It's actually nowadays in last 2, 3 months, the big changes happen. Power Platform is low code platform, plus it's also pro code platform. I'll tell you why, right? Because a lot of pro code has been embedded, right? So these things are there, right? Now, if you are building your career in 2026, just hit Power Platform, right? Very good skills, very demanding skill right now. Almost every company is expecting, right? This Power Platform skills, right? So usually what we do, we claim that we are a Power Platform developer, and we are just good in either Power App, we are good in Power Automate, maybe we are good in a little bit Power BI. Some people are more good in this, but they are not good in all. Right? So remember, if you are claiming that I'm Power Platform developer, you should be aware of all these 5 skills, right? So even though you don't know all the skills in deep, at least you should understand what business value these apps are going to bring to the client, right? Like what are the business? Let's say if I'm talking Copilot Studio, at least I should know, okay, there is a one set of skills sitting in this is family. If I learn it, I will be able to solve this problem for my client. Understood? Everything you learn, you'll have to understand the business value of this, right? So first of all, if you want to build your career just on Power Platform, first of all, you should be aware of all the 5 terms. Now, there are other supporting terms like Dataverse and Builder, AI Builder, those things. I'm not topping so these are the core family members. They have the siblings, that's different. Or app as again, and children's like Canvas app, Code app, Vibe app, and all, right? We'll talk more on this, but 5 apps are there. Right. Right. Now, usually what I always advise to my students, you know, right now this is okay. If you are building your career in Power Platform, it's okay. But why not build our career more as a Microsoft 365 ecosystem? I mean, or Microsoft 365 developer. Look, maybe 90% effort you are going to put in learning Power Platform, no problem. Right. But when I'm going to sell my portfolio in the market, when I'm going to the job market and I want to sell my portfolio, in spite of selling myself as a Power Platform developer, which is just couple of apps, bunch of apps sitting into this ecosystem. Now, let's say there are 2 people, like one of my friend is there, we are doing the same class, we are learning the same skills, right? He is going and creating his CV as Power Platform developer. He's doing the same thing, I'm doing the same thing. It's just that I'm going to present my CV in very different way. I'm just going to present myself as a Microsoft 365 developer. You know, right? Even though we are more or less knowing the same things, right? Probably I will get more priority. Why? Because I'm claiming that, look, I'm not just good in this bunch of application, but I'm good in all bunch of its apps inside it, right? So first recommendation, and this is not just for today, in next 5 years, 10 years, look, the Power Platform is on boom. I'll tell you my personal experience. I started my career as a .NET developer back in 2017 or 2016, end of 2016. I worked for .NET developer as 1.5 years. And then suddenly they asked me to move to this SharePoint. That time it was called SharePoint developer. There was no Power Platform that time. I was not aware what SharePoint is, but I went. Uh, I I went and chose that. So, that time Power Platform was newly introduced, and there were not 5 members. There were a couple of members there back in 2017. It was just introduced, right? So very few Power App and Power Automate was there. Like Power Automate was known as MS Flow, and Power App was there. And that was a very unmatured product. People were having trust issues. There were a lot of issues in their UI as a developer. We need to fix it. So, it was not popular product, but from 2017, it is in 20, almost 8 to 9 years, it has been. And, now Power Platform is a very mature product, right? A lot of restructuring has happened, a lot of new changes has happened, a lot of renaming has happened. Power Pages was not there, Power Portal was there, and MS Flow was there. So, look, the things will change. Maybe tomorrow, what will happen? They are going to, let's say, they decide that, okay, from this family, we are going to, replicate this 3 technology. What you will do? Then you are just left with these 2. Your job situation will also die, right? So why to build a portfolio which is very, very, changing very fast, right? So very first, like, you can definitely go and I'll tell you how to sell your profile in the market. But, first thing you'll have to keep in your mind, if you are already aware of what is a Power Platform, it's very good. It's very good. It's sufficient to give you a job in the market in the current situation. But if you want to survive for longer duration, right? If you want to get more weightage and the relevance, you know, project your CV, prepare your CV equally, to grow yourself as a Microsoft 365 developer. If someone asks, hey, what you do? You don't say I'm Power Platform developer, I'm Power App developer, or Power Automate developer. Say I'm Microsoft 365 developer. Even though my primary skills is Power Platform, my secondary skills is the other one, right? The PowerPoint, SharePoint, Outlook, MS Forms, right? This thing. Understood? Okay, that's the little basic that, no. So, okay, now once you go and start applying the jobs, look, couple of things you will find. There are different job titles in the market. Look, Power Platform Developer, because this is one job title. Power Platform, sorry, very bad in writing spelling. Power Platform Developer. Right now I'm writing, sometimes, they will give you, look, once you go and search any jobs, you will find the job title like this. And all of these jobs titles are very relevant to you, even if you are knowing Power Platform, right? So I'm telling you that what are the different jobs you can hit. SharePoint and Power Platform developer. This is one skill, right? Maybe someone will call SharePoint engineer, SharePoint developer or something, right? Look, even if you are going as a SharePoint developer, it might be quite chance that they are expecting Power Platform from you, right? Right. So, okay. Sorry. Okay. So, okay. What else? Okay. Now, you see, let's say, for example, I'm saying Microsoft 365 developer. Look, now, I have to understand this is the work with I'm doing Microsoft 365 developer. There is a one Microsoft 365 admin. They are different. They are more into buying the licenses, installing it, doing the governance things. They do the other thing. We are going to project ourselves as a Microsoft 365 developer, right? And don't confuse, there is also one parallel technology called Dynamic 365 in the market, right? Dynamic 365 developer. So look, so there are two very popular product from Microsoft. One is called Microsoft 365, one is called Dynamic 365. Because you are a Power Platform developer, your demand will be in both. You can also go and target these jobs. You can also go and target this up if you are just Power Platform developer, right? Because Dynamics 365 people also work on the Power Platform only. It's just that they work on mostly on the model-driven app and Dataverse and business process flow and all. But there is a difference between these two. Look, I get this questions, Rahul, when I start applying the jobs, I see Dynamics 365, what it is, right? Look, so most of the times you will be seeing these challenges. So I'll tell you the difference in very simple terms. Look, as a Microsoft 365 developer, whatever skills you are learning, as a Microsoft 365 developer, whatever skill you are learning, you are going to build an application for all the end users in an organization. Let's say, for example, you are working for a company. Let's say the company's strength is 500, right? Now, whatever application you will build, all the 500 people can use your application. Whether it's a SharePoint, whether it's a Power App, whether it's a Power Automate, everyone can use it. That means you are building a product for the end users, everyone. Right? Whatever skills you are learning, it can be SharePoint, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Pages, whatever, right? But when you are working as a Dynamic 365 developer, the mostly you are going to work as, you are going to work for some department, let's say some ERP application, some CRM application, these kind of applications you are going to develop, right? So they have one common things between them, like both of them have one common things. They both use model-driven app. They both use Dataverse as their data source. So what is a Dataverse? It is an internal database for these family members, right? This Power Platform family members. So if you are building an application, and if you, let's say you are building a Power Platform, you are building a Power App application, you want to store your data in the Dataverse, you can use it. But similarly, there's a dynamic 365 developer. He is building a CRM application. He can also store his data in the Dataverse. Understood. So they have one common point. They are a different developer, but they have a very common between them, the Dataverse and model-driven app, right? So look, these are the different job skills which you will get. Right now, the Power Platform is so open that, you will not just find a Power Platform developer. Even you will find a lot of jobs in the market with Power App developer, Power Automate developer, Power BI developer. So even those individual elements, the even Power App developer job is also there. Power Automate is also there. Power Pages is also there. Look, my thing is I will prepare for all. Given scenario, whatever job I will get, I will do. Right. But thing is, when I will have it comes to selling my portfolio, I would like to sell more as full stack developer. Just think this is like a full stack developer. Okay. So always remember, right? So this will not die. This ecosystem will never die. Microsoft 365 will never die. Tomorrow, Power App is there. Maybe they will bring something else tomorrow. That might not be the part of this family, but that will be sitting in this family, right? So if you are learning this, right, your your job is prolonged, right? All right. Okay, so these are the different job skills you will target, right? Power Apps, Power Automate, and all this thing. Right? Okay, right. If you have any questions so far, you can ask. Let's give it a. If you have any questions, anyone, please. Any questions so far? Feel free to ask, guys. Everyone is here for learning. So, questions. Okay. All right. Minute of silence. All right.
Hi Rahul.
Yes. Go ahead.
Which type of certification we required for the Power
Uh,
Platform level?
question. Good question. Good question. Certification is something I'm going to discuss. Don't worry. I'm going to give you complete roadmap of certifications as well. Now, the
Okay.
whole idea was to give you first the glimpse of the thing. Look, once you are preparing for job interview, look, I always categorize the things in 3 steps. Look, let's say if I want to do job in IT, I will categorize. Look, first is the portfolio preparation, right? Portfolio preparation, then it is an interview preparation, and then the job survival phase, right? So let's say whatever 3 months, 4 months you are spending in learning the skills, whatever skills you have gathered in last 3 technical skills, right? That you are learning for surviving the job. So once you'll get your job, you will solve the problems, right? And then uh, once your job is ready, once your product is ready, look, you are a product basically, right? So you are going to sell yourself in the interview, right? The more technical skill you are having, the more chances are that, you will get a good rate and, you will sell yourself, right? Now, then you'll have to learn the art of selling. Look, sometimes what happens, you might have seen the people who are not technically very good, they end up getting the job. It's quite common, right? It's just that they are good in selling themselves. Right. Even though you are a little bit compromised in technical side, sometimes the people are very good in selling themselves, right? Sometimes their portfolio is very good. You might have noticed in your real life also, sometimes you are walking on the street, someone is coming and selling you some product. Even if you don't need that product, just because they are explaining you are buying this product, right? And later you realize, no, this is not worth of it, right? So that is a skill, right? So sometimes, CB preparation, portfolio preparation is very, very crucial role. And in that, I'm going to talk that what are the different things we need to have, what kind of certifications, kind of skills you need to write, right? Right. We'll talk on it. All right. Any other question, guys? Okay. Okay. One thing is clear. Keep it this mind, guys. Project yourself as a Power Platform developer for now, but keep inside your mind that yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Rahul, good evening.
Good evening. Yes.
So you mentioned that SharePoint developer, but some companies are posting jobs like as a SharePoint developer and they're expecting the SharePoint framework.
Yes,
Also,
exactly. That's what I was going to cover now. Yes, that's exactly.
um,
Very good question. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Now see, guys, one thing is also I'd like to bring in. Now, you know what, the last 5, 6 months, especially, or you can consider the last 1 year horizon, you see what has happened. Now, if you are thinking, the company's requirement has changed a lot, right? Now, if someone is thinking that I can survive just with one skill in the market, in IT market, trust me, this is not going to be there. Like, you can't survive just with one skill. Let's say if I'm knowing Power App, Power Platform, I'm saying, no, I just do this task. You can't survive. Look, there are so many other skills you'll have to upgrade. Of course, Power Platform will be your primary skill. Right? SharePoint will be primary skill, whatever primary skill. But you'll have to go and also learn a couple of other technologies, right? Now, it's a good thing that you have brought, so I'll write that too well. So look, of course, as I said, there is something called Microsoft 365. Of course, if you are going for this, you'll have to know. Even if you are applying for SharePoint, definitely you need to know, right? In SharePoint also, there are two categories of things which you can understand. Look, once you are knowing the SharePoint, first of all, you'll have to understand what this platform is. Like, what are the feature of this platform, why this platform is needed for the, if I learn this skill, what kind of, problem I'm going to solve for the companies, right? Now, so the user aspect of the SharePoint, first you understand how this product is used, what is the SharePoint list, what is the document library, what is the permission management. You don't need any coding knowledge in learning this, right? It's just generic sessions. You watch videos, you learn this generic session. Look, if you are going for the Power Platform developer, minimum this user aspect you need to know, right? That how to set the permission, how to write the page, how to create the page, how to create the SharePoint site. This is the mandatory skill, minimum, right? Now, there is a one more skill on top of it, which requires some custom development. Let's say, for example, you are creating a SharePoint site, right? By default, there are some out-of-box features, right? Right? That is not there, right? Let's say, for example, uh, you know, if you are creating a SharePoint page and where in that page you need to embed some, Facebook post. Let's say, you are working for JP Morgan, and JP Morgan, what they want is they have the Facebook post, and whenever they are posting something on their Facebook page, automatically that post copy should also reflect on your SharePoint. Look, this is a custom development. There is a platform, SharePoint platform, where this feature is not by default there. So what I'll do, I'll go and learn a skill of developing that. So for learning that, you need a SharePoint development skill. And trust me, most of the people get scared. And I was talking to one of my colleagues. Most of the people were thinking now coding is very tough right now. But trust me, I'm telling you with my experience. Now Power App is more difficult than the writing the code. Writing code is more easier now, right? So even you'll have to go and learn that additional skill to, uh, to survive in the market, you'll have to learn it, right? Maybe we can talk about the strategy. So you learn a set of skills in the SVFX. That's a separate program, SVFX, where you work on some React and JavaScript and all, right? You'll have to learn this. So, you can also, you'll have to learn it. This one. This is optional. SVFX not mandatory, but it's always good to have skills that you need to know. Very similar to this, there will be a lot of job profile. There will be a lot of job profile where they are expecting you some Azure services. You might have realized, right? Let's say, for example, they're asking you, hey, when you are going and applying for any jobs, you are saying that they are writing, let's say, Azure Function or Web Job or Microsoft Intra ID or maybe the Azure Keyboard or there are different bunch of services. And trust me, Azure services is something which you cannot ignore. You are whatever, even if you are doing the Power Platform, you'll have to understand what are the different Azure services which I need to know. Minimum skills. Look, those who are very new to this Azure services, let me tell you what this Azure services is and how it is going to fit in our Power Platform ecosystem. So let's say, for example, you are building a Power App application, right? You are building some Power App application. It is doing leave request management app, right? And users are using it, and you are using your backend as a SharePoint list, right? You are using backend as a SharePoint list, And if you want to sync that data, let's say whatever data is getting saved into the SharePoint list, you need to sync that data in some, let's say, some other system. Let's say you need to sync that data in some SQL system or some Oracle. You are having any external data. Let's say I'm just giving you an easier example. So what will happen? How you will sync it? Of course, you can use Power Automate, but Power Automate will be time-taking process. So what you can do, or maybe if you want to bring some data from outside, vice versa. So you can write some Azure function. So it's a set of skill which you are going to write, which will do your backend job, right? So look, this requirement always will be there. Even if you are working as a Power Platform developer, they will 100% expect you that you need to know the Azure functions, right? So what you are going to do, you go to the Google, search it. What are the key skills in Azure services I need to know as Power Platform developer? Just very simple Google search, and it will give you the bunch of services, and you need to take it down, note it down. Look, what are this? And put it on paper, take a pen and paper, write it on pen and paper, white paper, stick it on the wall where you are studying, right? And keep in mind that, okay, I need to target this. I need to learn Azure function. I need to learn this. So let's say logic app and all, right? So, you need to know, you have to learn this. So Azure, this is also expectation. Even if you are going as a Power Platform developer, they will expect you to know this key services, right? Other than this, you'll have to know about Azure DevOps. I think, look, when I'm talking about Azure DevOps, don't think that we are going to be a DevOps engineer. No. Look, Azure DevOps can be used from different aspects. Even a software tester also uses Azure DevOps, right? So look, Azure DevOps has different aspects. Look, software tester uses it for creating their bugs, creating their scrums, user story, right? So for that purpose, right? For creating those pipeline and all, that's different purpose, right? So you'll have to understand the Azure DevOps from your developer context, right? So what are the different things you can do? Right now, you know that when it comes to the deployment, right? You know that when it comes to the deployment, you are deploying your application from dev environment to prod environment, right? You have three ways, right? You can go and use the export and import way. You can export zip file, you can import to the destination. That's pretty simple, traditional model. Okay, but not good. Keep it aside. Now, what is the second way? Second is an integrated pipeline. So we have integrated pipeline Power Platform. So you click, your pipeline is created between dev and prod. It's very simple. Anyone within few seconds will be able to create. No ML pipeline create. Right. That's the one way. Now there is a third way in which you can store just like as a pro code developer, we used to check in our code to the GitHub repos. We can also check in our code, like in YAML, we can check in our code to the, Azure DevOps, right? So at least, you need to know this, that how to, let's say, whatever application you have created in Canvas app, if you want to push it in the Git repos, what are the Git command, right? How you are going to push it to the Git repos, right? If it is already there, let's say, for example, you joined a company, right? And they're saying that, okay, Rahul, can you do one thing? Can you please make these changes? I'll say, okay, give me the code, sir. So they will say, okay, this is the Git repos, please copy it from there. So at least I need to know if there is a code resting in some centralized repository, how I will copy to my local computer, how I'll clone it, and how will work, right? So basic of Azure DevOps you need to know, right? Even though you are working as a Power Platform developer, this is your responsibility that you need to know this kind of skills, right? Azure DevOps, very, very important. Now I'm going to talk you very important skills called APIs. Look, a lot of people find it very difficult, or maybe they ignore it. But trust me, if you are a developer and don't know about the APIs, how the APIs works, right? We don't have any rights to call ourselves as a developer. As a developer, this is very, very, very important. I'll say this is most important than anything in else. Because right now, whenever you are working in organization, the most difficult part in working in as a developer there is your system should be integrated to different other systems. Let's say, for example, you are creating a Power App leave request management app in Canvas app, right? Now that Canvas app should be connected to, let's say there is one more system, let's say ServiceNow. It should be connected to the ServiceNow. Now, how your Power App system, which you have developed, is going to communicate with someone else's system, which is developed in some other technology, right? So that means two systems need to communicate. That's very, very common thing, right? Integration will happen because all the systems in an organizations are connected. Okay, so that is only possible with the help of APIs. So what are the APIs? APIs are set of rules through which two systems can communicate to each other, right? So there are different kind of APIs. There are, there are something called REST APIs. REST APIs, you need to know what are the REST APIs. REST APIs, you need to know what are the different methods. Let's say get method, post method, put, delete, post, patch, like these kind of methods you need to know, right? Very similar to this, you'll have to know about HTTP protocols, HTTP, HTTPS, this thing we discussed. And then, you need to also know about the Graph API. Very, very important nowadays. A lot of job descriptions have these terms. Look, these terms are very, very important when you are preparing your CV. I'll tell you that CV preparation. I've already prepared those things here. I'll show you. But the Graph API is also, it's also kind of API. Just think like, let's say, for example, what is a Graph API? Just think like, let's say, for example, what is a Graph API? So, okay, you see, let's say, for example, let's say we are living in India right now, and we are having our local language in India, right? Let's say we have local language, let's say Hindi is our local language. And now in international language is English, right? If you want to talk to other person, maybe in India also, I can talk in English, right? Or maybe other person. So REST API is just think like, it's global. You can talk to any other application, that's fine. But for talking between our family members, maybe we can use our own language, right? So what happens? Microsoft has created one bunch of communication methods, like, that's called Graph API. So within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem or Microsoft 365 ecosystems, if you want to communicate, let's say if I want to let's say you are creating a Power App. Just think, let's say you want to create a Power App. And someone said, okay, Rahul, can you do one thing? Can you bring one data from Outlook? Some Outlook data you need to bring into the Power Platform. What you will do? You will use the Graph API. That is a local language. Just think like a Graph API is a local language of communication within Microsoft 365. Right? That's a very, very, very easy word. So you just code this. Those who are very new, maybe I can show you real quick. So what is a Graph API? So just go to Google and type here Graph Explorer, right? Just search it, Graph Explorer, right? Click on it. If you click on it, look, this is a Graph Explorer, right? And now this is an API, Graph API. All you'll have to do is you'll have to log in here, right? You'll have to log in, and once you log in, right? Once you log in, let's say, for example, I'm logging here, and I'm going to hit this API. Look, this is a Graph API, and this will bring the data. Look, this is going to bring the data related to this one, right? And similarly, you see there are different, let's say, for example, the photos, and then this one, mail, and this. So if I want to bring any information inside my Power App, if I want to bring data from, let's say, some groups informations, right? If I want to create, or if I want to get data from my Outlook, if I click on it, I'll get this API. You see, this is the API. Now, how I will consume this API inside my Power Platform? That's the art you need to learn as a Power Platform developer, right? How the permissions are granted so look, this is not a technical thing. It's all about a little bit of one or two application you'll create and you'll learn, right? Okay, so you'll have to know these terms. Look, these terms are very fancy terms and they will confuse you once you'll go through the job description, right? So maybe they are writing those fancy terms, you need to know API, REST API, Graph APIs, right? AI Builder, right? So, okay, now there is one more term called AI Builder. I need to know what is an AI Builder. So AI Builder is an AI capability. So look, usually what happens nowadays in it, interviewers are asking these questions. You will notice they are asking generic questions, but they will ask, okay, Rahul, can you please tell us in your current scope of projects, do you use the AI? You'll say, yeah, maybe I use ChatGPT and all, but that's not an AI use, right? You are just taking the formula help, right? As a developer, what kind of AI feature you are using inside your application that is helping your customers to get more fast response, or maybe your client to get more things sorted in fast time, right? So you'll have to understand in the current market, you'll have to prepare 1 or 2 use cases for yourself, that if they ask me these questions, what kind of AI you have used inside your current application, right? Even though you haven't done, you'll have to find 1, 2 use cases, right? The AI builder is one of them. Let's say you have a document library. In that, there are 100 PDFs document in which there are 100 Aadhaar cards uploaded, right? As soon as there is an Aadhaar card uploaded, that Aadhaar card photo should be extracted, and all their information should be extracted, and they should be stored in SharePoint list, their name, column, different columns, right? Now, you extraction from that image. That's what the AI can do, right? It can extract the data from this. So this is one use case. There might be invoice extraction, or there can be different thing, right? So keep this. Always look, once you will go and sell yourself in the interview room, try to give them a point which probably will, they will think that, oh, this is something different, right? Maybe, he's a good guy. Best fit, right? AI builder is one. Of course, Copilot Studio and all things can be brought out. Custom connectors, right? Custom connector, very, very important. Look, these are all fancy terms as a Power Platform developer, you'll find. What is a custom connector? So custom connector means, let's say, for example, usually what happens, those who don't know the custom connectors little bit, I'll tell you. So I'll just, okay, last 30 minutes, I'll give you for complete question and answers. Don't worry. I'll just give you those terms. So let's say, for example, this is your Power App. This is your UI. Look, any application has 2 phases, right? UI and database. Agree. Any application in this world will have these 2 phases. Just think like this. You see, this is DB or backend. I'm writing backend. Okay. See, now look. What happens? This is your Canvas app. Let's say this is your UI. UI is usually mostly handled by the Power App, right? Power Apps usually handles the UI. You will create the screen, right? But where you'll bring the data from, or where you'll push your data from UI, right? You need a backend, right? Now, backend is sitting. It can be external backend like SharePoint, SQL, or anything, or it can be Dataverse, right? Doesn't matter. But the thing is, how my front end is connected to my backend. That's very, very important, right? Like if you want to bring some data, like from backend to this, you need a connector. You need a connector, right? You need some wire, you need some data cable, right? So you need a connector. Now there are 3 kind of connector. One is a free connector, right? I mean, if let's say, for example, when you are going and buying the Power App license, and if you want to connect with the SharePoint list, do you pay for it? No, it's free connector for you. I mean, because you are using Dataverse and backend and for front end as a both. So same technology, so maybe you get it free. So there are a bunch of connector which is free for you, right? Which is free for you, right? But let's say the connector is not there, or even if it is there, let's say, for example, you want to connect with some Oracle, right? You want to create a Power BI and Oracle DB you want to connect. So look, Oracle is a different companies. If you want to bring data, you'll have to go and buy the premium connector, premium cable you'll have to buy, right? So you will pay a little more money and you'll get that premium connectors, right? So 2 free connector and premium connectors, right? If it is free. But let's say, for example, tomorrow I'm creating my own database called Rahul DB. This is my own database called Rahul DB, right? And I want to bring data from Rahul DB to UI. Okay. Now, even if I want to pay someone, no, give me a connector, he will not give. He say, what is a Rahul DB? I don't know. Even if you are ready to look, free is definitely not there. Even premium is not there. Premium is pay and take. It's not there. What you will do? Maybe I'll go to the company and ask that, hey, can you please customize this connector based on my need? So you will create your own connector, right? So most of the time when you are working as a Power Platform developer, as a front end, when you are creating your Power App application, you might be asked to bring data from different data sources, external, which is not there. So you'll have to create a custom connector. And trust me, it's not a coding thing. 4 or 5 steps, all done. Right? You'll have to understand the security roles, assign security role, authentication, couple of steps. Just go and search it and you'll find a bunch of steps, right? So have it. And always highlight, look, these are the key selling points, key feature when you are going to sell yourself as a product, these can be your key selling points. Everyone is going to talk, I did scheduling flow, I am going created Canvas app, I connected with approval. No, those are very common points, right? Do something different, and then these are key points. So custom connector is definitely one of them, right? What else? Okay, you can give me the points if you know something. I'm just writing. I don't know. Definitely Copilot Studio. Okay, Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is Copilot Studio, very, very hot topic nowadays. Even this, you will find this job as an independent job also, just like a bar. It's getting so popular right now. Copilot Studio. So I remember we used to call it as a Power Virtual Agent, right? The old name was Power Virtual Agent, the one family member in that ecosystem. Now, what they have changed, they have integrated some AI feature into it, and they have started calling it the Copilot Studio. So basically, we create some chatbots or custom agents, right? So you create an agents basically. What are the agents? So those agents terms you need to know. So a couple of things you need to know are the terms. You need to know what is an LLM. So there are different LLM is just like a human brain, right? So there are different LLMs from different companies like GPT and those cloud and Anthropic from the Anthropic company. They have different other thing also. So you just need to know the LLM, because usually what they will ask you in the interview, okay, did you create some chatbot? You will say, yes, I created some chatbot, use Copilot Studio. So they will ask you, okay, can you tell us which LLM model you used? Then you'll suddenly get confused, right? So, whenever you are creating some agents like this, we will see in the next classes how we to create it. But whenever you are creating the agents, you need to know that agent is using what LLM model, right? So LLM model that you'll have to understand. These terms you'll have to understand. And also these terms. So Copilot Studio, you need to know. Power Pages is not that popular in Indian market. I've not seen a lot of jobs, but it's always good skills to have the Power Pages. And the Power Pages, the reason why the people are less demand this because there's a little costlier license for the clients, and but now they have made some changes to it. So Power Pages is also for creating the external facing website. So if you want to create an external facing website using the low code technology, like just drag and drop and your external facing website is ready, so you can use Power Pages. So you'll have to, there is also one aspect, like if you also know the HTML, CSS and JavaScript, you can also do the customization from that aspect also. So there are two skills. I mean, from two aspects you can learn this Power Pages. Power Pages, if you can also learn Power Pages as non-coding experience, Power Pages with coding experience, right? Maybe initially, if you don't know coding, you can always go and write this CV that I have created a couple of Power Pages website, but I was using the low code platform, just drag and drop using those features. But if given a chance, I can also work on those coding aspect, right? Because that is also in demand, right? Okay, now, other than this, what are the different skills? So, okay, REST API I discussed. Okay, Dataverse, of course, very, very important. Very, very important Dataverse as well, because you will find a lot of those having this terms Dataverse. So look, Dataverse, as I said, let's say, for example, I'll go back to this. Now, what happens? Let's say, for example, if I want to create a Power App, I want to create a Power Automate, right? If I want to create like this, and I don't want to store my data into the external world. Let's say SharePoint list. It is an external word to this family. Look, SharePoint is not part of this family, right? So if you are storing your data into the SharePoint, that means you are sending your data outside this family, right? If you're using some SQL is not part of this family, right? Even not this family or not this family, right? That means the external data source, right? Let's say, for example, we decided, no, in no case I want to bring this, like I want to store this data into this family only, right? I don't want to keep my data outside this family. So for this, Microsoft has given you that criteria that there is a one internal database to this application that is called Dataverse. right? That is called Dataverse. So what is a Dataverse? It's a cloud-based database for internal applications of this Power Platform family members, right? Now, there are a couple of family members who are very strict. Let's say, for example, Power App has more power, 3, 4 types. Let's say Canvas app, model-driven app, code app, and Vibe app, right? So especially the model-driven app is very strict. Model-driven apps is saying that, look, if you are creating model-driven app, I will not allow my data to store outside. So if you are using model-driven app, you'll have to store data in the Dataverse only. Or even if you are using the Power Pages, you'll have to store data in the very Power Pages. Power BI is really flexible. It said, okay, use it inside, outside, I don't care. Power Virtual Agents, okay, Power Virtual Agent also is very strict in this. So there are a couple of family members that are very strict about this. They said, no, we will not expose our data to the external world. Let's keep it in the same. So Dataverse is knowledge you can't ignore, right? So Dataverse, when you are learning Dataverse, couple of things from you'll have to have these keywords in your CV, right? I'm going to talk why you need to have it. So couple of things, what you have done in the Dataverse. Now, Dataverse is very, it's a wider concept, but so it's all about creating the tables. You'll have to understand what the tables. So Dataverse is a database. You can call it a relational database. Why? Because it uses the table it stores the data in the form of the table, just like a SQL, right? So you create a table, you create a column, you create another table, you create another columns, you establish a relationship between those tables. It's a many to one, one to many, many to many. So these are called data modeling, creating relations, right? So you need to understand how to create columns, how to create tables, right? How to create calculated columns, how to create a relationship between these two tables, right? Very simple. You can learn in a day or two, no problem, even if you don't know at this stage. And if you want to prepare for next week or so you can learn, right? And then you'll have to understand that security rules, very, very important. You can't ignore this. Security rules, right? Okay. Okay, there is a one more term. I'll tell you what it is. Okay, now what is a security rule? So especially if you are storing your data in the Dataverse, the data protection is very, very important. Look, when I'm storing in my data in the Dataverse, Microsoft is taking care of my data protection. I'm not talking about the complete house. Look, if you are living in your house, outside protection is not your job. That's police of your state is going to protect your house from outside. Your city police is going to help you. But inside your house, how will you protect your data? Because inside you have different family members. How I will keep my data privacy intact within my family members itself, right? Look, outside protection, it's not my job. It's Microsoft job. That's their platform. That's cloud-based platform. Let them do it, right? But when I'm protecting inside my house within my family members, now I'll have to understand what are the security rules. Let's say maybe one of my family members, he is having only read access on my data. So probably I will give him respective security rules, right? So security rules you'll have to understand when you have the row level security rules, like, just like an item level permission in the SharePoint, those who know. So this is just like a managing the permission in the Dataverse, right? Who will see what kind of data, who will have what kind of role and access, right? Those kind of things. Look, everything I'm telling you, all things are going to be connected to each other, right? You'll have to understand. I know we are having very less time. It's very difficult to explain you all, but I'm just trying to give you those things. You have to understand the security also. And this is very, very important. ALM process. Look, a lot of people do this, but they don't know they are actually doing it. And I ask them what is when I take the interviews, I usually take the interviews, but when I take the interviews, I ask them, a lot of people don't know. They are already doing this ALM, but they don't know. What is an ALM? This is called application lifecycle management, right? What is it? Let's say what happens. You know the SDLC, right? Software development lifecycle, right? Or software development phases, right? How the software is development, requirement gathering happens, then the documentation happens, design happens, then development happens, testing happens, production, deployment, and all documentation, training, blah, blah. These are all phases, right? These are all phases under which a software has to undergo. Understood? Now, very similar fashion, we have something called ALM. That's called application lifecycle management. This is just like a lifecycle app and Power App. So whatever application you are creating, this is a set of guidelines or rules coming from the Microsoft. It's not a mandatory, but this is a good to have, right? So whenever you are creating an application, you'll have to start with creating the environment first. You'll have to create dev, test, and prod. So you'll have to understand you'll have to understand how the environment concept work, how to create the environment, how to add someone in the environment, how to give someone permission on that environment, right? Now, within that environment, just those who are a little new to this, so environment is just like a house, right? So environment is just like a house, right? This is an environment, right? Within this environment, you have different rooms, right? These are individual rooms inside your house. These are like a solutions. Each room is like a solution, right? That gives you protection, like privacy within the house, right? So this is an environment. This is a solution, right? So for every project, you will create a separate solution. Projects one solution. Projects two, separate solution. If I don't create solution, if I just keep my things here, probably it will be very difficult for me to identify when I'm doing deployment, which app belongs to what, right? It's always good to have and need to know what is a publisher and all those kind of things. So environment, solution, publisher, right? What is an environment variable? What is the connection references? These are all keywords. Interviewer will try to ask you and they will try to, check your basics, that how familiar you are. So this is an ALM process. What is an ALM process? It is a set of guidelines coming from Microsoft saying that, hey, look, if you are creating a Power App application, please follow these instructions. A lot of people don't follow this now in the instructions, right? But you'll have to follow it. So whenever you are explaining your projects in the interview room, you always say that, look, whatever projects we develop, we always follow the Microsoft guidelines ALM process. We create environment and solutions, publisher and right naming convention, everything, right? Our guidelines, right? So you'll have to understand this. So go and learn that what are the ALM process, right? And what are the different thing which is going to come, how the governance and all, right? Very good. You'll have to understand about the DLP policies. Look, you know what? And then I'll also call it governance and compliances. Look, you know what? These two terms are quite popular nowadays. Look, this is not our direct role. Look, we are a developer. We are going to develop the application. Now, there is also a Power Platform admin, or maybe a Microsoft 365 admin. They have a different role to play, right? Their role is to set the governance and policies, right? That's whatever data you are creating, who will have what kind of access, or which data will be exposed to the external world, which data will not be exposed, which connector is allowed to use. Let's say, for example, you are creating an application. Let's say you are an organization, right? You are having a very sensitive data inside your office, right? On your laptop you are having, and let's say there is a no pen drive. You can't use pen drive to copy the data. As soon as you put a pen drive in your laptop, they will detect and they will send you an email. Maybe they will fire you. But let's say if I am a little smart, what I will do, I'll go and create a Power Automate. I will use a Gmail connector. I will send my data to the Gmail, or maybe I will use some Outlook, say, let's say Twitter connector, or Facebook connector. There are already inbuilt connectors. I will use that connector, run the Power Automate, copy the data, paste it in that Facebook. No physical involvement directly, data breach. So that's called data breach, right? So using your Power Platform, users might expose your data to the external world, right? As a developer, it's our responsibility to protect it. Just like a firewall, just like a wall we are going to create. So this is called, you'll have to understand, this is called data loss prevention policy. Data loss prevention policy is a set of rules under which you are going to block your connectors, which are they can expose your data to the external. You will block them. So as soon as user will try to add them, they will say, sorry, your organization has blocked this connector. You can't use it. Right? So you'll have to learn. You just click, then you do. It's not very difficult thing. Right. And then governance and policies. Look, this is compliance is very, very important. You'll have to understand. You don't need to go in deeper, but at least you'll have to understand what is the governance. And look, what happens, look, every application you are building that has to follow. Let's say you are having your account on Facebook. You are having your personal account on Facebook, right? Okay, that's very protected, right? Why? Because the company Facebook is protecting your data. That is bound by governance policies and compliances policy. They will not expose your data to external world, even their personal information. They are very sad. Your chat is very safe. Your chat between you and your friend is not exposed to the external world, because those are all compliances and governance. You can't do that, right? So every application should follow certain compliances and certain governance, right? Look, at least you'll have to understand a couple of use cases where this is applied, right? So that if there is some talk on this, you can share your opinion on this. I'm not saying that this is not your role. It's always good to know deeper things, but you know about this. Why? You know what? Why? Because right now the LLM is getting embedded into your systems, right? The LLM is getting embedded to your system. Like, a lot of LLMs are, let's say you go and ChatGPT ask, let's say you are creating a Copilot Studio, right? And you are asking Copilot Studio, can you bring the data from my SharePoint list? When you are asking some queries, maybe for that you'll have to bring the data from the SharePoint list, right? So what will happen? Now, LLM is a third person, right? He's trying to enter your SharePoint ecosystems. He's trying to he's trying to third point ecosystem, SharePoint ecosystem, and he's trying to steal your data. Right. Now, you can't trust blindly on LLM, right? So what data will be exposed to LLM when he's trying to access your data and trying to serve your client, right? Let's say there is a chatbot is going through LLM and is bringing, so governance and policies are very strict. Nowadays, this topic has become very relevant because the LLM is getting integrated as an agent into your system. Go and read more about it. Make your knowledge more strong around these areas, right? Look, these are the couple of terms you'll have to know. Like, there are more. I mean, probably I'm not able to recall it right now, but these terms you'll have to understand, right? Okay. Any question, anyone so far? Let's give it a quick break here and then ask your questions. Yes. Any question, guys? Anyone? The chat questions. Okay. No question. Look, I'll tell you one strategy. Yeah, go ahead. Someone is asking. Yes, please.
Hi there. Just a quick question. How much depth knowledge do we require for these areas? For example, the policies or the roles or the governance. So it's just a basic introduction where we can just handle the information about the data, or interviewer or the company is really looking a good, strong hands being interviewed or deploying us as a new employer.
Good question. I appreciate you for this. Okay, now look, guys, there's no generic answer for this, but I'll give you a look. Now, this is a question which comes to everyone's mind. Look, as I told you, nowadays, in my current company or any company, if you talk to your friends, there are a lot of testing people I've seen. They have been asked to write some Python script. You can't do that. They have been given AI tool and they're asking, please do this. They are test engineers. They're not supposed to write the test script. They're asking it, right? Now, there are not more headcount in the company, right? The project budget is less, right? They will have to accommodate. So you will be overutilized. You'll have to understand this. Maybe the question you are asking right now in 2026, maybe you are asking 2024, 2022, maybe I'll say, no, you don't need to know this. There's a different set of people, they're going to handle it. But because now when you are hired, you'll have to, even not from the company aspect, you as a person want that, look, I want a lot of dependency on my shoulders so that they need to think twice before they ask me to leave if they don't have any project. I would always like to contribute myself in different areas. Look, all the related thing which I need to learn. Look, I will always have certain set of skills. I'll categorize my skill in two sets. Primary skill, which I'm very expert. No one can beat me in that. But there are the secondary skill which I'm exploring. Slowly, I would like to build I would like to move my secondary skill to primary skill with the passage of time. But set up primary skill. Let's say you are very good in Canvas app development, model driven app, Look, that's good. But always good to have. Start with the basics. If you are starting 1 or 2 years of experience, they will not expect that you do everything. But especially if you are crossing 3 to 4 years of experience, you should definitely know 1 or 2 use cases where you can practically demonstrate that. Even if you don't have to go deeper, at least you need to do some POCs to check that, okay, if I'm creating a DLP policies within 10 minutes, trust me, if you have those licenses, within 10 minutes, you will create one DLP policies and you will start adding those connectors, you will get an error, right? So, there's no generic answer. It's always good to have. The more deeper you know, the more chances of you are being more, valuable resource to a company, right? As I said, always keep in mind that don't try to, survive yourself with one skill, guys. Keep yourself updating around all areas. Look, Azure DevOps. Maybe the people, this was a very, Azure services, this used to be a very different set of skills. But right now, in last 6 months, look, my core skill is SharePoint, Power Platform, Microsoft 365. Last 6 months, hardly I got in Power Platform Ops. I'm getting sometime they're asking me to write Azure function. What you'll do? I'll say no. I can't say no. They're asking me to write web job. I'm writing. They're asking me to do some integration, creating some MCP server. I'm creating, right? So the problem is, no, it's okay. It's good to have your initial job as a Power Platform developer, your focus in initial career focus, but always keep in mind that, look, there's no boundary of the skills now. You have the Copilot, you have the ChatGPT. Look, you need to be a project yourself more as a problem solver if you want to survive longer in this IT. Not just in Power Platform, you know to do this. Makes sense? I mean, yeah, sorry for long answer, but yeah, this is
Yeah,
the.
yeah, that helps. Thank you.
All right, any other question, guys? Mhm.
Is there a job vacancies for a fresher?
Sorry, can you repeat yourself, please?
Is there a job vacancies for fresher candidate?
Okay, okay. I think I'll answer the question. Anyone else? I think I'll combine this answer with this. Anyone else other than this or similar to this?
And difference between AI builder and Copilot, is it same or any
Okay.
difference?
Okay. All right. Good question. All right. Let's start with this fresher job thing. Look.
Okay.
Okay.
And also regarding to Python and MicroStrategy SDK, do we need to know?
Okay. 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 Let me answer these three questions. So first of all, look, right now, the job market is changing a lot, right? And companies, their expectations, even if you see the Power Platform jobs, and if you read their JD, you'll get confused. I have seen so many job descriptions. They have 90% out of the syllabus context in their JD. They don't have anything which is relevant to this, right? So first of all, you'll have to, as a fresher, even if you are as a fresher, there are still jobs. In India, you'll find still jobs. Maybe, the market will change, but it has gone a little down for now, but that will change. You'll find some jobs, but it's always good to have some experience, maybe 1 or 2 years, because look, once you are look, usually when you go as a fresher, right? I mean, once you go as a fresher, I mean, you'll have to either show as a freelancing experience or you'll have to show some experience. Why? Because they want you to work from day one only. They want to be a billable resource from day one. And if you are tagging yourself as a fresher, probably you will not get that much weightage. Right now, you'll have to show them, look, I have worked for 1 or 2 years as a freelancer or something, but you'll have to show some kind of experience to get your CV shortlisted. I'll talk that CV shortlisting thing. What are the chances? The other question is, what about the difference between AI Builder and the Copilot Studio? Look, right now, Power Platform or any technology, we are using a lot of AI feature inside it. Now, these two things which we are seeing, whether it's AI Builder or Copilot Studio, they are a way of bringing AI into this Power Platform, right? Whatever skills you are knowing of Power Platform since last 1 years, and if I want to embed some AI feature into my application, either I will go with AI Builder or I will go with Copilot Studio or maybe some other, right? So both are different. AI builder is more for doing the backend job, right? Backend job. Let's say, if someone is uploading the document, let's say Aadhaar card in the document library, automatically AI builder will wake up and he will extract the information. He will copy into the SharePoint list or Excel and he will sleep, right? That means he's working as a backend resource. He's not coming to the front end. Understood. So AI builder is having different kind of skill set that works on the backend, extracting invoice, extracting that's backend service invoice and all. But Copilot is more working from the AI front, like directly interacting with the customers. Maybe you'll ask, hello, sir, how can I help you? And say, hey, can you give me the list of people who has taken leave in last month? Maybe he'll go to the SharePoint list, count it, and bring in data to you, right? That means he is directly interacting. So you are creating an agent, right? Who's going to interact with the customers end to end. Like he will interact with the front end and then he will go and bring the data. So that's all for that. So that's the answer for that. Now the third question, sorry, I missed the context. Can you please remind me what was the third question? Someone asked. There was one question.
Python and micro
Okay.
strategy SDK.
Okay, look, Python, look, you'll have to understand one thing. When it comes to upskilling, sometimes, a lot of people are talking about the AI and they are learning here and there. Look, the very first thing, thumb rule of whatever technology you are learning on which you have learned. And if you want to learn AI, now very first approach should be whatever you know in that technology, what are the AI feature which we have it before? Let's say for me, let's say I'm Power Platform developer, right? And now if I want to learn AI, before I go and learn any other AI tool, I will try to learn the AI tool which is related to my skills, current skills, so that at least one skill I'm having matching with the current market, right? Which is my current skill plus AI, right? So maybe AI builder can be good addition at the first stage. Copilot Studio can be the good addition at this stage. If you guys know this and then you want to upskill, then you go and learn other out of box. Look, Python is not directly related to this. Python and Microsoft, they are not directly related to the Power Platform. Nowhere directly related because we are not writing. Yeah, if you want to learn, look, the couple of skills, as I said, that Power Platform was promoted by Microsoft as low code or no code platform. That's how they were selling it, right? That you can build this application very quick, very fast if you learn this, and no coding is needed, blah, 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 blah. So it was being sold and it was being very popular. But you know what? Because of the GitHub Copilot, which is, or maybe some other AI tool, which is writing code for you, right? You say, hey, I want to build an Amazon-like website. He will write a code in Python, Java, whatever language you ask. That means that's more easier. Giving prompt is more easier, right? Now, so that means writing is not our job. So that's why to keep this thing survive, things more active, Microsoft is slowly moving this Power Platform technology towards the pro code thing, right? So with the passage of time, at least the skills which you need to learn, I'm telling you, you'll have to learn the JavaScript, right? Even you learn, then you'll have to learn the TypeScript. And in spite of learning this, you learn this. You learn the C sharp. C sharp basic. Look, you will be asked to write a lot of Azure functions. You will be asked to ask a lot of web jobs and other services that will be there inside this. Learn about this, right? Learn about a little bit of PowerShell, right? These are programming skills, right? Now, what else? You need to learn about the React.js, right? Look, learning this, trust me, don't get that picture of very scary moment when you learn the coding. Look, you are living in the era of AI and ChatGPT, right? So trust me, I have trained a lot of people who came from nowhere and they end up building an application in SPFX or Copilot or coding aspect, right? Why? Because the help of the AI, right? You'll have to know how to work with the AI tools to get these answers, right? You need to know a little bit of basics of those syntaxes, and then you'll have to know that how to generate those answers and how to fit in, right? So React.js, right? Now, you know what? The Power App used to be of two types initially, right? So in fact, Power App used to be two types. The first was Canvas app, right? Then we were having thing called model-driven app, right? Model-driven app. But you know what? Last 2 months, so this is mostly for UI. This was UI first approach, and this is database first approach, like data first approach, data driven app, right? But they have created two more categories now. Now Power App is not just two types. There is one app called Code App, and there is one more app called Vibe App. Most of you are knowing, right? So there are four Power Apps now. Like the whole idea of Power App is to build your application, whether it's mobile application or desktop application, right? If you are building with Canvas app, model driven app, code app, Vibe app, doesn't matter. Power App means build an application, desktop based or mobile based. That's the basic idea of Power App. It has different members. Now, if you want to create Canvas app, you have a different set of skills creating it. So the code app and Vibe apps. Now, Microsoft has started promoting this, and they have already announced that they are not going to bring any new feature to the Canvas app now, at least for maybe next update. So they're not bringing any new feature to this Canvas app right now. That means they want to promote their other two products, right? The Code app and Vibe app. Vibe app is all about chatting and creating. You don't need a developer for this. So anyone on the first day only, hey, I want to create a Power App with this feature. Hit enter, and then your app is ready. Oh, you don't need. Your code will be written in the React.js, but you can't change that code. That is completely, if you want to change that code, write a prompt again. You don't go and change that code. You can't change that code, right? That's a Vibe app for you. Now, Code app is more about the complete React development. Now, tomorrow, let's say the requirement changes for the company. They ask you that. A lot of companies are saying, though, one Power App platform developer who has good knowledge on code apps. Know the JavaScript, then you need to know the TypeScript, you need to know the React.js, right? Basic of HTML, CSS. Look, you can't ignore them. Trust me, wherever you are, in spite of learning any other things, focus on the primary skills. Build area things. Whenever you get a time, 30 minutes a daily of your time should go in learning the skills. Because tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you'll be asked to work on this. Power Platform is going to use these things a lot in the future. This is completely based on these things. If you don't know, you can't create this Power App. Maybe after 1 year, this Canvas app is not going to be that much active. They are going to ask you to create code apps or Vibe apps, right? So you need to understand. You don't need to be a very sharp coder, but at least you'll have to understand the basic of this language. What is the variable? What is the function? How to write the syntax of the function, so that when AI generates your code, you are able to relate what it is generating. It's not very gray for you, right? So that's why you need to know basics of it. So in spite of, so these are all skills which is relevant for you, right? And if you want to learn Python, other things, that's your choice, but they are not directly embedded related to this, right? Okay. All right. Any other question, please?
Yeah, in some JDs,
Mhm.
in some JDs, they were asking so Python and SDK strategies. That's what I just
See,
I just
that's a very, very relevant question. And look, that's what I'm saying. I was talking about the example. I was seeing the one cloud platform, and I saw sort of skills. I was very confused. What? This is not the title should be not Power Platform developer. This should be something else. But they're selling with the Power Platform. So the problem is nowadays the JD is not matching the title, but it's more matching the projects which company is having. Right. Let's say we are having an enterprise level projects in our company, and we need two Power Platform developers. But if you just know the Canvas app, model driven app, probably that will not fit in. You will not fit in on row, right? Maybe I want someone who is good in Azure services. Let's say he's good in writing Azure functions, Graph APIs, he can handle it. Or maybe little bit of Python integration has to be done. Of course, if you are going as a Power Platform developer, that will not be, of course, your primary role. As a secondary role, those things are always good to have. So at least you need to know basics. So again, you can't do much on that. So those kind of thing you can ignore, but yeah, you can tell them, look, this is my primary skill. These are set of skills. But so yeah, maybe SDK and all these things are important, but you'll not find a lot of iterations. So look, one thing, because you asked this, I'll tell you guys, look, do this. Take 3-4 white plain paper, A4 size paper, right? Go to the LinkedIn job or any job site, whatever your preferred job site is. Go and search Power Platform developer, right? You'll get list of 5-6 job or 10 job, 20 jobs, right? Open the first job. right? Just read the job description, right? If you find anything irrelevant, like, okay, you write the skills, whatever they're asking, Canvas app, AI builder, you write, right? Whatever skill you see, you write the keywords, go to the next job, write the keywords, go to the next job, write the keywords, go to the next job, write the keywords, and try to see what are the different repetitive pattern, which skills is more common in all of these jobs, and try to circle it. If 80 to 90% of the skills are matching, then you can just, focus on those things, right? So yeah, prepare your strategy like this. Yeah. All right, next
Thanks, sir.
question, please. Next
Yes,
question.
I have one question.
Mhm.
As a Power Platform developer, I should also focus on desktop flow, RPA, or cloud flows are efficient.
Again, this is not, yeah, okay. This is most of the cases probably the desktop flow. I mean, I know I have worked on a couple of desktop flow automation scenario, but we have a different RPA developers in my team now. But look, as I said, as the team size, the team management, I mean, the company's policies are changing, right? They want a person who can handle more, right? So look, even though that is a different person role, and if I'm going to sell myself in the market, look, I will try to keep all the related thing which is coming nearby to me. So look, RPA is a different set of skills, text of flow, right? But if I have created couple of use cases, and if I'm writing in my CV, probably, I will be given more priority, right? Because that can be a secondary skill, but it's always good to have. It's not mandatory, but good to have, right? So yeah, that's my answer. Any other question, please? Okay. Hello. All right. Seems like sort of questions. Okay. Okay. Now, look, because there are very less time, so let's summarize whatever we have discussed. I'll say, look,
Hello.
yes, go ahead, please. Yes, complete your
Yeah,
question. Mhm.
I have a small doubt. I developed a Canvas app and Vibe app. So can we use the app in development only environment, or we need compulsory to deploy?
Sorry, can you elaborate your question, please? What you're saying? You have
So
developed? Mhm.
Canvas app and Vibe app
Okay, you have developed
in
both?
dev, yeah,
Okay.
different apps. I
Mm-hmm.
just tried it. So I developed in development environment.
Mm-hmm.
So is it mandatory to use the app in deployment only to the
Look,
other employees?
yeah, so definitely, look, development environment is just for development activities, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is not available for other people. You'll have to forcefully give them, and that's not advisable. If you'll give them access to this, they will be able to change your application. So, always, because that is a more like an unmanaged solutions, right? Like, you are creating there. Now, it's always good practice to push it to the production environment, which is a managed solutions where the people are not, they are not able to edit your things, right? So yeah, you'll have to deploy it first. Yeah, testing locally, that's fine. For other people to access, you'll have to push it to the production environment for sure. Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
We can share with it means we can give security levels in the development also, right? Without
Okay, so it's just like, okay, definitely you can give, but the thing is, that's not a recommended. That's not the LM process. I was telling you that's LM process,
okay.
but that's not LM process recommends. Look, if there is let's say I'm having a house, and inside this house I'm having a private room,
Yeah,
right?
I know the
Yes.
layer concept, but I want to just clarify. I
No,
know the
no.
concept layers.
You can give it, but that's not advisable. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not advisable.
okay. After deployment, is there, while deploying the app, is there any payment for the app,
Payment
or
for
is
that?
it means to use the app in a
Yes. Every user needs to have the premium license. Look, that's the problem, right? So
yeah,
that's the problem with this. This has been almost 2 months when this app was introduced, and there's still a lot of users are not there. The reason is the license cost is too high. Even
Yeah.
for end users also, license cost is very high. So that's why, the people are more shifting toward the SharePoint development. Maybe tomorrow you will be asked to create what kind of application you are creating right now in the Canvas app. You will be asked to create very similar kind of application inside your SharePoint framework, and you'll have to deploy inside your SPFX, right, with using the Pro Code. And there's no charges for that. I will hardly pay my end users don't have to pay any extra charges for using that applications, right? So
Okay.
maybe there will be shift, but yeah, that's cons of this, that, every end users accessing
Yeah.
that application should have the payment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But Copilot Studio Chat Agent chatbot, we can use that
So
for
Copilot,
all.
okay, so for what? For external users?
No, internal.
Internal, yes. Look, Copilot is to payment plan, you want to understand. So Copilot Studio
Like
basically is a credit.
credits.
Credit,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a
Monthly
credit bill.
credits.
Yeah. So let's say you are having bulk of credit. So every question LLM is interacting, your credits will be, decreased with that. So yeah, everyone can use
Without
it.
LLM,
Mhm.
just we give the knowledge source.
Mhm.
While charting, it will take one for every chart conversation. It will decrease the credits
Yes,
or
yes, yes, yes. Look, licensing model, I'll have to check. I'm not more into licensing. That's an operational team which they decides it, but it's more of a credit base, and
yeah,
most of the
like
queries are
not
tokens.
exact. What I mean is,
Mhm.
like I've asked a leave request.
Mhm.
What are my leave count? Just I ask a question.
Mhm.
For each question, they decrease the credit, or they will only affect when we use AI generators inside the chatbot.
No, so the
The
question you are
credit
asking,
score
yeah, so that
for
depends
normal
yes.
conversation, it will decrease, or
No, no, no.
it
Normal
will only
conversation will not
decrease.
affect. So
Ah, yeah, yeah.
if your LLM is, look, LLM is the person who's going to run on the credits, right? So whatever you ask to him through him, that will be chargeable. Now, so mostly it is through LLM only, right? So it will be else if it is a direct one, maybe, you won't be charged for that, because
Okay.
LLM is charged. Every LLM model has different charge, 3x, 1x, 2x. So your credit will be utilized accordingly.
Okay. In exact, there is a test environment, right? In
Uh-huh.
test environment, what exactly we'll do as a Power Developer, or it will be assigned after development. Some companies will give to other team to test, or
Yes.
if we only want to build end to end,
Uh-huh.
what exactly we need to test in the test environment for
So
any
look,
app.
usually the recommendation is your application should pass from development to test and test to production, or maybe some people call it as a UAT, user acceptance testing. So, look, only development people are having access to this development activities where they can modify your app. Even the testing team is just going to test your business functionality, like whatever the feature we're supposed to ask for develop, our current application is matching those features. So that's what the testing team tests, right? Before
Okay.
they hand it to the production. Look, as a developer, we'll do our internal testing, but feature by feature testing, let's say 20 features were supposed to initially agreed to be built, and then those features are working as expectation. That's what we test in the test environment.
Okay, you said internal testing, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
No,
what
internally.
exactly?
Mhm.
What exactly we want to follow to achieve that?
Okay. Let's say, for example, let's say usually what happens, there is a team. So whenever a project is awarded, let's say you are making a leave request management, right?
Mm.
You are building a leave request management, and then in that leave request management, you are having a team. Let's say three developers are there, two testers are there, and there is a user documentation, user requirement is there. Now, what I'm doing as a developer, I'm converting the user requirement to the app, You are building a functional app functional, and then you are testing it, and then you are handing over to your internal team, your own colleague, right? He's not an external client. Now he will test your application in the test environment. You will not ask him to test in the same environment. So you'll create a separate environment for him, and you will publish your deploy your application there. He will test based on the requirement document. He will test it. If there is a bug, he will ask you to fix it. If it is a passed, then that application will be sent to UAT for user acceptance testing. And the user is going to test that application who has asked me to create that app. Now, once they pass, then I can deploy that app in the production.
Okay.
That's the basic software engineering. I think it's not to do with the Power Apps, but the functionality. Yeah.
Background
Yeah.
process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, guys. So let's move to the other thing. Look, I'll tell you, I'll summarize all the things together and I'll say, look, usually what happens, those who are in the interview preparation session, preparation stage right now, or maybe thinking of it, look, divide your complete this phase up, getting a job into 3 phases. The first is preparing. Then preparing for your technical skills. You learn all the skill which you need to learn. You learn it, first phase. Second phase is build your portfolio. Like, look, sometimes what happens, your product is very good, very, very good product, but you are not a good seller. So sometimes you struggle to sell your product, right? People will not buy that product. So at the same time, you need to be a very good communicator. You'll have to play very smart. So for that, you need to have your different portfolio. CV is one of your portfolio. LinkedIn is one of your portfolio. You can have your own personal website. You can have different other places, where your presence can be marked, right? You can be on YouTube. You can be on, different. The thing is, whatever products you have, you'll have to you'll have to create a platform where people can go and get notice. Oh, he's a good guy. He seems to have a good bunch of skills, right? Let me hire. So you need to have those portfolio ready, right? So that's very, very important, right? Doesn't matter how good your product is. If this section is not there, so someone is there, please unmute yourself. Mute yourself, please. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm saying is, if your product is good and if you're not good seller, you will struggle, right? So look, so we are going to talk on the CP preparation strategy, portfolio strategy now. And then technical strategy, I've already told you that you'll have to technically know everything related to the SharePoint and Power Platform. You don't think that should I learn it or not? That should not be one question. You categorize your skill that, okay, these are the primary skill: Power App, Power Automate, Copilot Studio, SharePoint, basics, primary skill, right? Put it there. No compromise. I need to master that. Now, secondary skills, Azure DevOps, JavaScript, this, whatever you're thinking, put everything in the secondary skill, right? Everything. So that's why I said, go and find the pattern on the job sites, write it down. You will find a pattern. You'll have to use those keywords, know about these terms. Even though you haven't worked on this, at least know the business use cases. Go and ask ChatGPT that, hey, can you give the business use cases for this topic? You'll get some idea, right? At least you need to know what is an LM. I meet a lot of people who don't know what is a difference between agentic AI and generative AI. These kind of very basic questions, what is an LLM means actually, right? At least need to understand those basic terminologies. And then, once your portfolio is ready, you'll have to go and give an interview. Then interview preparation is a different strategy, how you will speak in an interview. So let's say, for example, I did my preparation technically. I prepared a lot of projects. I worked out. Now I build my CV, I build my portfolio, LinkedIn, everything is there. Now, the very first thing is I would like to get my CV shortlisted. That's my very first challenge, right? Interview is a secondary stage. First, my CV should be shortlisted. So you'll have to have a plan for doing that. So what you are going to do for making most of the calls. So whatever jobs you are applying, you should make maximum out of it. You should get maximum calls. So if you're applying 20 jobs, at least you should get 10 calls or 12 calls, right? 50%, more than 50% strike rate should be there. In worst case also. Good case, you can have 18, 15, 20, right? But so for that, you need a strategy. You need a preparation. right? What I've seen people, they create a generic CV and everyone asks, hey, there is an opening, please take my CV and please apply. Please take my, and you have created a very generic CV, and that's how it works. So what happens nowadays, you'll have to understand the recruitment process. Nowadays, there are ATS tools which is being used, right? I have pick up notes. So see, that's an application tracking system. So usually what happens, whenever you apply the job, it goes to the HR, right? It reaches the HR, right? Now, let's say they have posted some job skill. Within 10 minutes, they have got 500 profiles. Are you thinking that they are manually going to open your CV and check, oh, is guy a good guy or not, right? It used to be there, but that's no more. Everything is on automated. Now, a lot of companies have started using the automated systems, and those automated system is being built by the Workday. These are the companies who are making these ATS tools, right? So your recruiters might use any one of them. And what they do is whenever you apply your CV, your job, your CV will go and get placed in one of this database of this ATS tool. Right. And now let's say I need 2 developers and I posted a job. 500 CV comes, right, in my database, ATS system. Now what I'll do, I'll try to put some keywords. I know I have someone good in REST API, someone good in Dataverse, please bring the CV. Now, or maybe what I'll do, I'll try to calculate a score. So there is something called ATS score. ATS score will also be depends, right? So I'll tell you also, see, so these are companies, they are using this ATS tool, right? And so what ATS tool actually help recruiter? It helps to store your resume, right? It will search your candidate by the skill. They can search it from the database. Okay, they can rank your CV. So it's always good to have whatever CV you are creating, that should be an ATS supported CV, right? I'll tell you what is an ATS supported CV, but that should be an ATS supported CV so that you score high. Maybe if you upload your CV to the ATS, your score should be, so usually you get a score from 1 to 100. So your score should be more than 80% or 85% or 90% to have maximum chances, right? So rank, right, and shortlist. So ATS tool is there to help this, right? So when you upload your CV, ATS reads your document. So ATS tool is actually going to extract your name, skills, experience, and all these things, right? And and it is going to give you the ranking or relevance score of your CV. So let's say 500 people has applied. So everyone will get rank 88, 86, 86, 56, 52, and I'll get, let's say 88, I'm in the top, right? So I'll get a ranking, right? So, this is how it happens. Like, ATS will parse your CV based on the keywords and it will rank your CV and then your shortlisting will happen. Now, we are learning about the shortlisting phase right now. Your first goal is that you should get maximum call. For that, what you will do, you will create an ATS format CV, right? To have it, you need to have proper, right? Right. So usually, let's say, for example, initially, a couple of years back, we used to create a very fancy resume, right? Colorful templates, right? Graphic icons, and there are a lot of animation on this. Trust me, if you'll put this, your ATS tool is not going to rate you high, right? ATS tool is is going to struggle a lot reading this animation, right? It will not rank you good. It will not give you a good number, right? So maybe, ATS readability matters more, right? Your keyword optimization matters more, how you are presenting it, right? I'll tell you in the DOM. So structure, how you are structuring your CV, right? So, keywords are very, very important. So always, let's say if you are applying the 10 jobs, if you are going and seeing the 10 jobs and you want to apply all 10 jobs, you'll have to go and read that JD. Let's say job number 1, read the JD, see the keywords, copy the job description, paste it on ChatGPT, and go and say, hey, can you give me the keywords which I need to put in ATS format in my CV? It will give you some keywords. Try to fit in those keywords into your CV in the technical skill available. And also ask ChatGPT, can you give me some relevant projects for this job description? Now it will give you a bunch of projects also, right? You'll take note of it and then keep it side. Like you don't need to necessarily look. When it comes to justifying your projects, right, there can be different approach, right? Sometimes, you don't have to be, look, I don't need to be, say you as a trainer, but you don't have to be very honest in talking. So you'll have to, let's say if I worked on 10 projects, I can claim that I worked on 20 projects or 30 projects like this, right? So what I'll do, if I'm done any projects, I have followed the LM process. That let's say I've created a leave request management. I have created a solution environment first solution, then and those naming convention, those Power Automate the environment variables, and those so everything. Now same thing I cannot. I just if I know the requirement of any other projects, I can justify, right? So it's not about what projects you have created. So you can always justify those using the LM process, right? So based on the job description, get some relevant context of the projects, some relevant projects, try to understand the use cases, try to understand the job skills, and try to fit in your CV. And then, get a score. Once you prepare your CV, you can just go and upload into, so there are different jobs, ATS. So you can go and search on Google that, ATS scan. So look, so this is how you'll get, look, once you'll upload your CV, you will get a score here. Right, you will go your score here, right, and then your score should be more than 80, and then you can apply it, right? So just one subject, so keywords, right, to work on it. Okay, okay, now job title, maybe I'll share you this document. So job title match is also very, very important. Sometimes let's say there is a Power Platform developer, let's say there is a job description called SharePoint developer needed, right? SharePoint developer. But inside the SharePoint job description, 80% jobs description is about the Power Platform. You are very good in that, right? But your CV is having the job description Power Platform developer. So that's not a good match, right? Because your CV should match the job description, JD, right? So when ATS tool will work, ATS tool will try to read the job description's title and it will try to read your title, right? So, what is your current title, previous title? It's also check like that, right? So if job role matches your profile, higher ranking will come, right? Set of skills, you'll have to write the skills like this, right? So ATS technological skills, tools, certifications, all things you'll have to mention. Okay, someone was asking about certification. So let me tell you, recently there have been some change. So look, Microsoft certification comes into the 3 categories. Remember, there's a one level of certification called fundamental certification. Fundamentals. There is a one intermediate. Sorry. So yes, sometimes I struggle a lot to type it. Sorry. And then there is an advanced level certification, ADVANC advanced. Okay. So Microsoft certification is always there in 3 phases, right? So first, if you are a very beginner, 1 or 2 years of experience, you start with PL 900. Right? You need to know this fundamental, and fundamental certifications don't have any expiry date. So if you are writing these certifications, these certifications are going to with you for lifetime. There's no expiry date for this, right? So you'll have to do PL 900. I'll also recommend you do AZ 900. That's called AZ 900. That's called Azure Fundamental. You need to know the basics of Azure, right? So at least you need to have 2 certifications here. Intermediate level, you just go and do the PL 400, right? PL 400. And that's a developer associate certifications, right? So this one, if you want to do Power BI, I think PL 300 something, I'm not knowing the correct number, I'll give you the document, but this one. And there is a PL 600, which used to be there, but I think it's going to be deprecated next month, July or something. So this is 600 is going to be deprecated. So there is a new certification coming in place of this. I think something AI or AB 300, I'm not sure. Maybe you can check that what is the new replacement for this PL 600. This was a more like architect level. So there is a one more certification in replacement of this, as you can see. So you start with this fundamental and then you do the intermediate. Okay, that's the one. Okay, and then any question, anyone here in the certification area? Because someone was asking there. So any certification question, guys? No.
Can we do direct intermediate level?
Yes, there's no restrictions to that. You'll have to follow the hierarchy, but yeah, I mean, it's up to you, like what you want to do first. But it's always good to follow a chain because if you want to apply for, let's say, if you want to go and apply for some other tags like, Microsoft Most Valuable MVP or MCT, something like that in future, I mean, maybe it's always good to have those hierarchy things, right? But you can always go and directly do that. Yes, there's chances. Okay. Right. Look, for the certifications, I'll tell you one thing. So what happens? The certifications usually, you focus on the documentation. So if I go and search PL900, I'll go to the Microsoft documentation. There are training there, right? Read about those trainings. Trust me, most of the questions will come directly from there. And do also one thing, you go to the Telegram or any place, you just search PL900 dumps, DUMPS dumps, right? And you will get a list of questions. Exactly 60% questions will come from the dumps. No difference, not even options will change. You'll get a list of old year questions where 60% will come. You need to score 70%. You'll have to just study for 10% and you will be through, right? So, yeah. So, okay. Okay. Any other question regarding the certification, guys? If you have.
So hi.
Hello. Yeah.
So Microsoft is recently providing free certifications for some
Yes,
AI
yes.
certifications,
Up
right?
levels. Yes, yes.
So
So
is
maybe,
it,
yeah. So that's the certification. I think you need to appear for one practice test and you'll have to score some marks there and then you'll get some pre-certification. But I don't think that is something called PL, right? That's more of AI certification. So yeah, it's always good to have AI certifications also, right? So,
can you
mhm.
uh, for AI fundamental, so we require, right? So it's like platform is moving towards to AI.
Yeah, so little bit of change in the syllabus is there, so you can go and check that, their training, I mean, the certification syllabus that's updated now. It's little bit is mixed with the AI now, so it was not AI having thing. Recently, it was moved. So, look, a lot of AI thing has been added to the Power Platform. That's why the certifications have been duplicated. You see, there was a PL100, PL200, PL300,
Yeah,
PL400, 500, but most of them has gone now. Right, we have left with just PL300 and PL400 and then PL900, right? 600 doesn't qualify. So I think at architect level, they have brought one AI certifications. I'm forgetting the name. I was reading this, but you can check. So
yeah.
yeah,
I think AB 100.
yeah, AB100. Yes, you are right. Something right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, always good to have a certifications. Look, certifications might not affect you, but it's needed for the company. So what happens when you go and join a company? Your company can win the projects based on your certification. They can proudly go and say the client, hey, we have a 10 certified developers. Give us the projects, right? So that will help in that context. That why companies will promote you, hey, please do certification, please do it. Another benefit is they will also get a lot of Microsoft funding in terms of the licensing discount or something, I mean, there are a lot of Microsoft programs. So if you have people working under your company who are Microsoft certified, company will get some gold partner. I mean, there are different partnership companies put with their names like Microsoft Gold Partner or something. So for getting those tags, you'll have to have certain hard counts of certifications, right? So it's good to have, especially it's not good if you are not planning job change. If you're already working, you're not planning job change and your company is not forcing you to do it, you don't need to do it. But if you are going to have a job change, it's always good to try for it, right? So that will help companies. All right. Okay, so we are talking about the skill section. So you'll have to write the skills like this. Look, every skill should be very, very crystal and clear, right? Look, so if my job description is something, I'll have, because what happens if you are having the skills listed in this format, my ATS tool will read this skill if it is matching with this job descriptions, right? So I will get higher chances of doing this, right? Okay, now experience relevance is very, very important. Look, let's say most of the time you are applying and saying, Rahul, I'm not getting the calls. What is the reason? I don't know. You know what? Looks, you see different parameters why you're not getting the calls. Maybe your ATS score is too low, right? You are not writing the way they are expecting. The job description is not matching with the requirement, or maybe, it's not having that content. Sometimes what happens, let's say you are having 2 years of experience and you are just applying a job description which is having 7 years of experience. That's not a match, potential match, right? So there's a big gap between that, right? And so no, or maybe your project's relevancy is not there. Let's say you have not done any migration projects and the job description is more focused towards the migration project. So Look, one more thing. So when you will see the job description, Power Platform or SharePoint, look, there will be some dominant things. So maybe they are going to say, we are looking for Power Platform developer, someone who is very good with Power Automate. Now that means they are asking the Power Platform developer, but they are looking someone who is good in more Power Automate, who is doing more automation. So when I will build my CV for that company, I will try to put a projects which is more dominance toward the Power Platform. I mean the Power Automate, right? Because when they will select us, they will say, "Oh, this guy is good match for us. This is what we are looking for," right? So probably I will make, and even my projects I will also change based on that. So the relevance experience is your matching technology, years of experience, to match, right? So, so you just write these things, right, with this matching, right? Okay. ATS tool struggles. It has its own limitations. So it struggles, if you are putting a lot of content in the tables, it's a little difficult to read it. Images, icons, text boxes, multicolors, graphics. Look, probably try to avoid it. Like, put a simple formatting works. Look, I don't, I don't mind what kind of format you are using, as long as it's not a very tabular or very clumsy or what graphical or something. If it is a plain text, if it is a content, I'm going to show you what you need to have. So maybe but you'll have to keep it very simple, right? Photos and all things you should avoid using style happy graphics, skill bar, icons, charts, and complex, because and best is like use a single column layout, simple formats, clear headings, PDF for docs. These two formats are more suitable. Bullet points, it's very, very important because your ATS will read it more, especially in Indian market. US market, we have different things, right? And this is how you need to have it. So best format, look, what you are writing inside this is okay, but at least generic topic you need to know what sections I need to have. In my CV, I need to have professional summary section, where I'm going to write a 1 or 2 line about what kind of role I'm having, right? So let's say I'm writing that I'm Microsoft 365 developer with 7.6 years of experience in SharePoint Online, SPFX, React, Power Platform, and Azure Solution Development, right? So that's something I'm writing about professional summary. So this is the term, right? Look, this is an ATS suggested thing. So technological skills, I'm going to write the point number 2 or 3. How you are placing in terms of the layout, that's your choice. But these terms should be there. Very, very important, because these keywords you are going to put. Experience section, projects name. So, okay, mostly you are going to put your experience section that I'm working for JP Morgan from this year to this year. My role in this company. So basically, when you are writing your experience section, you'll have to define your roles, what you worked, right? So what kind of technology you work, what kind of responsibilities you are having in that company now, what are your achievements, right? So this is about your experience, whatever experience you are writing, right? Not what projects, right? So you use the actions, verbs, technologies, numbers, result, right? And this is, let's say, for example, it's good to have develop 15 plus parts in SPFX using React and TypeScript Enterprise Organization Portal. Or someone is writing the same thing in different way, worked on SharePoint development. This is more elaborative, and this makes more sense, right? The same thing, people will write like this and they will write like this. So maybe they will get a good score, right? So you see. So look, not that, but that's what I'm saying. Look, if you have more score, right? So based on those parameters, you will get a score 85%. I told you the website, right? You can always go to this website like this. You can search ATS tool, check website, and then you'll get a score, right? And you can check how good it is, right? So, right. Okay. One resume for all jobs, very bad strategy. Don't follow it. Change your resume for job to job, right? Like fancy terms and these two should be avoided, like, right? Okay, before we close now, I'll go and give you what we need to have for ATS format CV. So we need to have contact informations on your CV. You need to have a professional summary, technical skills, certifications listed if you have any professional experience, and what you have been working since last 2-3 companies. What was your role in that company? What was your duration? Key projects you have worked, and this and this point number 3 and 6 should be mostly, this is going to change based on the job description to job descriptions, right? So you are going to use AI tools to get some projects context. You are going to adjust that projects matching the job date, job JD, and then also this technical skill as well, right? And if any additional information. So, the format can be like this. Don't try to put any photos and all now. I think those are not advised, right? Um, yeah, I mean, you can get this on Google search and ChatGPT, like, no problem. There is nothing I've written which you don't know, but, it's just that, strategy matters a lot, how you are rephrasing it, right? So, interview preparation is also, maybe we can talk in next sessions or something, that how we are going to prepare for interview sessions, what areas to connect, what areas to focus, like technical, what behavioral questions, managerial questions, right? In India, usually those behavioral and managerial questions are not that relevant, but technical questions are more relevant. But if you are from other market, let's say US or some Australia or UK, maybe those questions equally matters, right? You need to also be good in behavioral interviews, and you need to be also, so that aspect also we can discuss. And then technical, of course, in the technical questions, there are not very vast syllabus. We are having a very limited syllabus. You'll have to list it down. So let's say, for example, I'll just tell this. Let's say, for example, uh, I'm building some projects, right? So when I'm building some projects, I'll try to break it in this. So there is a one phase of requirement gathering, there's a one phase of documentation, and then there will be a development preparation. There will be one is Scrum planning and all those things, and that's a deployment stage of the projects. Then there is a testing stage of the projects. Look, these are the different stages. I will write on pen and paper that what the different stages of my projects. And now when I'm going to the interview, I can very sure that my question will be either from deployment stage, or it will be from this stage, or it will be from this stage. Now, I'll go to the ChatGPT and ask, hey, can you give me the 20 questions related to the Power Platform deployment? Boom, you got a set of questions, you go and prepare it. I go to this stage, give me this set of questions which is needed from this context, you'll get those set of questions. Look, so always try to break your preparation in different stages. Trust me, look, you will not find any question out of this context. Either your question in the interview is going to be from the documentation, or it is going to be requirement gathering, client communication. It is going to from some development or integration. So you categorize like this and then prepare your question. In spite of just searching the question, give me 10 Power Platform interview questions. So it will give you a mix of questions, you will land up nowhere. But if you break it in more generic way, like these phases, that find questions are based on these phases, probably you are going to make your plan more better, right? So I mean, these strategies, small strategies, sometimes they will give you more confidence going forward, right? Yeah, so that's it today from session. So now I'll open for question and answers. Yes. Yeah. It's open for question and answer, guys. You can ask. Feel free to ask
Hi,
us.
Rob. Thank you for
Yes.
the session.
Uh,
So yes, I have a quick question. What if
mm,
someone is not having the same job title? Suppose if I am working as a technical support specialist and I'm applying to Power Platform job roles, but I have key skills and I've worked on the projects. How we can resonate our CV in that
Very
case?
good.
Because ATS also,
Mm.
as you mentioned, it also scan for the current job titles, right? So how we can revamp CV in that case?
Uh, Look, there might be a couple of challenges, but when it comes to CB shortlisting, okay, look, probably look what happens when it comes to the interview justification. Probably they will not ask. They would judge me on what I'm answering. So probably when I'm in the interview room, even though I'm working as a previous job as whatever specialist, if I have worked on a couple of Power Platform projects, I can justify. It's all about justification. Even in the background verification, they will not go and ask my company, hey, did this guy work on these projects or not? So I can always justify technical while speaking. When it comes to putting out in ATS, yes, you are right. There might be some technical thing. If your company has given you some generic terms, let's say, for example, support analyst. Now, support analyst or some technical analyst is not resembling any technical limitations. Look, if I am a support analyst or technical analyst or some BA and business analyst or technical thing, I can always go and project myself as whatever job descriptions matching in this because I'm a technical person. The problem will come when I'm not at all technical. I'm more into some other role, a non-technical role. And then my company, when they will give me the experience later, they will write that technical role, right? So then there will be problem. But as long as your job title is generic, technical specialist or something, you can always go and write in your CV. There is no justification needed. Your CV should reflect that job description which you are applying for, right? Let's cross that stage. So pass it. I think that not be a challenge. Uh, you can
Okay.
always modify your CV at the first end. Look, first priority is to get our CV shortlisted, not the job, not the interview thing, not the job thing. First, you cross the first barrier. The most of the people are struggling there. So for doing that, look, I'm not saying this is a lie because you are already working, you have worked on some projects, you have confidence. So it's all about, we are switching the context of the job title. So that's okay. That's justify, we can justify writing those things, the CV. There's no legal thing or something. You can always write or switch. You can do the context switching as long as it's technical. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Yes, guys.
So, do we need administration skills like admin center, like that?
It's good to have. It's good to have. It's not needed. Look, admin will always be different people. Look, even if you're working as a Power Platform developer, you'll not be having complete admin rights, right? There will be some global admin or some, of course, Power Platform admin, probably you will not find a different job title. Power Platform admin's work you should know as a developer. Because usually company will not hire a Power Platform admin, right? They might hire someone as a Microsoft 365 developer admin, platform admin, but Power Platform admin, there is no role, right? So probably yes. Let's say, for example, when it comes to creating the environment, sometimes your global admin might create it, but if they are giving you permission that you need to create an environment, you'll have to create the security rules, you'll have to create the DLP policies. Yeah, basic admin, at least you should have. Create environment, create role, assign permission, create the Office 365 group, those kind of things. So, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Hi Rahul, just to extend Sonia's question, if, for example, if it is a career change requirement, I'm moving my career opportunity from one completely different role from to the PDD, Power Platform Developer, and into that, uh, like most of us we do, we go through a training, we learn. Um, for example, Power Platform Developer, or regarding all the aspects of it, and we prepare the projects, we practice it, we prepare every aspect, and we're gonna showcase this learning into the CV. Very truly,
Yes.
this is definitely not the live project what we are exactly doing in the company, but showing all those projects into the CV and telling them truth that yes, we did it through some organization, we learned it, and now this is a career change approach. So how much the employer they are really going to entertain it, or we should clearly be telling lie that oh yes, we learned it, we also integrated in our current company or in a project that is looks more relevant. I mean, which truly speaking, yes, we used to do it. Here we are
Yeah,
all
yeah, I get it.
very clear. So I'm asking it very fairly, being wrong in the further scenarios.
No,
So which scenario would be the correct one? If I'll be really truthful, would be the right way, or I should shuffle the CV or the presentation of my interview?
yes, I think this is the most relevant question from this session, and I'll appreciate you for this. I think this is question most of us are having, especially when I train the US people, they're having this question. And in US market, it works a lot. In Indian market, they have the very different way of filtering. They will ask your company and they will not shortlist you. So look, what happens sometimes, if it's good to have the honest, like, you need to have honesty is good. But you know what? there is also, as long as you are not putting something which has you'll have to put some legal paper to prove it. Let's say I'm saying that I have worked in this company as this. Now, there's a legal thing involved that you'll have to submit your requirement. I mean your company offer letter or maybe salary slip, and then you are going and making it fake. That I will not recommend. But there is also another way of putting it. So you can present it like this without having anything legally bound. So I can say, look, since last 1 years, I was exploring these IT things because in my current organization, I saw these things happening. They started asking me to do little things. So I started seeing it as a user. I thought that, okay, let me go and explore it. So I started learning through myself, and then I took help from some other training school, and I found it very interesting. And then, then I started getting some projects as a freelancer. So one of my project friend was working, so I started working with him as a freelancer. So since last 1.5 years, I'm working as a freelancer. I've worked on multiple projects. Now, look, indirectly, you are saying that I'm good hands-on working on the live projects, and you are not entitled to give them any justification as a proof, right? So the thing is, your ideas should be conveyed. Look, if I'm a company owner, I don't care if you are lying or not, right? If you are not a person who is very, very beneficial for me from day one, probably I will not hire you. Why? Because my task should be done irrespective of, so I'll try to bring the person who has already worked, right? So probably I'll appreciate you for your honesty, but maybe I will not give you a chance in my company because I need someone who can start working on the project from day one, right? So it's always have minimum 1 to 2 years of experience to go into the market, right? And that need not to be a fake experience. That's people choice. I don't have any say on that. That's individual choice. But if I want to play safe, I can go on projects as a freelancer, right? Just to prove
Yeah.
that, I have those things. Yeah.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, guys, any other question?
Is it necessary to learn C# as a Power Platform developer?
Sorry, your voice is a little muffled. Can you come again louder, please?
It is necessary to learn C# as a Power
Okay.
Platform developer.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not necessary. It's not mandatory. A lot of jobs will not mind it, but because right now the demand in the market is changing very fast. Like, look, I'll tell you very honestly, most of the companies, even it's a big MNCs in India or outside, they don't have long-term visibility of any resource. Let's say, for example, if I go and ask my manager, hey, do you have bandwidth projects for me for after next 6 months? Probably he will say no. Probably I don't have any current bandwidth visibility of any projects coming for you. Now, if I'll stick to one skill Power Platform, I might be on bench and they will ask me to leave, right? Now, if I want to survive in the market, I will try to see, okay, there are some parallel projects running in Azure or something because I'm already in IT. Why not upskill myself, right? So it's always good to upskill yourself. And C#, you don't have to learn a lot of coding. You'll have to learn the basics. What are the classes? What are the objects? How to write the classes, functions, right? Basics. And that anyone can learn, provided how you are being trained, but you can learn. And then you can use AI things. And then you can claim that I know C#. Look, I'm not very good in C#, but I can claim you that I can make any Azure functions or anything inside the C#, right? So because I have the AI tools, right? So it's good to have skill always, right? Because it will give you the preference in the future, right? Yes. Yes. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so do we need to include both the experience section and the project section in our resume? Because what problem I am facing is if the project which I have worked is part of my current company, so I am mentioning it in the experience section, and that is more descriptive in nature. So I'm not having space to include the project section.
How
So
many
it
how
is
many years of experience you're showing? 2, 3?
2 years, yeah,
2
right now.
years. Okay. Okay. So ideally you should be within 2 pages. Okay. Look, within 2 years, I mean, we can't tell more also. So look, as a company, you will have to majorly define what company you are working in, the experience, company name, maybe the duration from where to where, and key roles in bullet points, like, not about the projects, not about the broad projects. Let's say, for example, in my current company, I'm working as a tech lead. I'm working as, the developer. I'm working as a scrum master, right? I'm working as a test engineer. So I worked on this. My current role is this. I'm leading the team of this. So this is a generic description about this current role. So when you are mentioning the experience, maybe, your company, your duration, and then your key roles which you are performing, responsibility you have been given in this company, right? You have been asked to lead the projects or do the single development. And then when you are exploring the projects, I have seen most of the people, they are writing more descriptive about what these projects do. So when you are writing your projects, you don't have to write your company. That's not mandatory. Projects, they don't think which company. So projects title is okay. Let's say leave request management, 1 or 2 line, what these projects do, maximum 1 line or 2 line. And then more important is skill set, what skill set that projects was built on, like, it's SPFX or Power Platform or, skill set, write those. And then very, very important, your responsibility, because your interview is going to revolve around those responsibility which you are going to write there. So write it quite wisely and write it end to end. I have seen people that I do development in these projects. No, it's not a smart way of writing it. So write that in all the projects which you are writing, just write your responsibility as, my responsibility in this project is end to end. And even when you are speaking to the interviewer, you say, most of the projects which I have done, my responsibility in the projects from end to end, from the client communication, requirement gathering to all the way to deployment and development and deployment. So yeah, those key responsibility is the key. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Rahul, I have one question here.
Yes.
Resume should we make of 1 page or 2 pages? Generally, we
Okay.
suggest to make on 1 page only.
Yeah, so look, that depends on how many years number of experience you are there, right? So let's say, for example, you are a fresher, then 1 page is okay, right? Then if you are 2 to 5 years of experience, then it's okay. You can have the 2 pages, right? Then if you are more than having 5 to 10, then you have a lot of portfolios to build, a lot of scenarios to explain. So you cannot fit it in 2 pages, right? So ideally, ATS, this is an ATS suggestion. Look, there's always an exception. Nowadays, I see a lot of freshers, they're coming with 2, 3 pages. That's also good because they see, look. But no, as for suggestion, minimum, this should be the criteria, right? As long as you are matching those things, look, writing more content will not help you, but writing in this actual format, like covering those skills which they need, will give you more weightage, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is the generic formula which I'm highlighting now.
One more question over here.
Yes.
Job scan. You have mentioned the website to scan the CVs.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I've never used it, but is it free to use, or do we need to
Well,
take subscription?
I think this is free to you. Just try Scan Resume for free. I'm not sure, but you'll find other
Okay.
tools also. I mean, just this is one of the website. There will be
This
plenty
is one
of
of the good one.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any other recommended website or AI tool you will suggest?
Yes, Shweta. Actually, we
yes.
have our own application also. Maybe I'm not sure, like whether you people are aware. We are testing. It's a mixture of a resume, and we can able to even expect the what kind of questions may shoot in the next interview. It's a depends on the JD. It's a Clear My Interview, the name. You can give
Yeah.
it a try. So
Yeah.
I'm sharing this
Okay.
link, and if you want, I can show you how it works. So if
Yes,
you have
I'll.
any resume and JD, right? Like it will shoot the question depends on the JD. I'm sending
Okay.
the chart. Let me share my screen, Rahul, just to give you a second.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed to explain to you about this. This is our tool. It's called Clear My Interview. Okay, it's a 3 interviews. It's a completely free, and it will take the ATM resume analysis and what are the skills are matching, what are the skills are not matching as per the JD. It will be analyzed. If any, now we are upgrading to give the perfect resume also. Like currently, it will give only inputs. Let me log in. If you're the first time, you have to be sign up.
Yeah. Okay.
And also portfolio, also we have our own portfolio building tool. This also you can able to utilize. In the next version, we are making even a professional example. You have an interview tomorrow with one XYZ company. Still AI interviews, you are not satisfied. You can hire in a professional example. Rahul have some slots. He given his time and his company, his professional details. You can hire him and he can take half an hour of his time. Something like this. Here you can see technical interview, behavioral interview, and interview practice. Interview practice will be topic wise. You don't want to go for a complete interview. Now just you need an only practice. Example, you can keep it like a low level. Power apps, not entire Power Platform, only Power Apps. Even in Power Apps, only any particular topic like Canvas apps, model-driven apps, any other subtopic, or else I'm just keeping here Power Apps only. Question method, technical situational scenario. Let me keep it technical at this level.
Mahesh, have you shared your screen? We are
Yes,
not
yes.
able to see.
You are not able to see?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, yeah.
I can see. I am not getting.
I shared again. You're not able to see the screen?
No.
Still. What about other
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, it's good.
We can see.
You are able to, right? Okay. For now, I turned off the camera. You can turn on your camera and you can able to take the video recording also. After that, you can download your video session and you can able to double verify how you answered. Let me start interview.
What is the purpose of a Power Apps component and how do you incorporate one into an app?
Anyone aware about this question?
Yes, sir.
Anyone knows?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is the text. This will be the voice. You can able to click on the voice and you can just answer it. It will take as a convert as a text. I'm not that much aware about Power Apps, but I'm just trying to give here. Power Apps is a component, is a reusable UI element or a functionality that helps to make apps modular, consistent, and easier to maintain. To incorporate a component into the app, create the component into the components section, add controls and define input or output properties, and save and reuse the component across the screen or apps. Sorry, so I forget to start recording. Let me start. A Power Apps component is a reusable EUI element and functionally that helps to make apps modular, consistent, and easier to maintain. To incorporate a component into the app, we have to create a component into the component section first, and later we have to add a controls and define input or output properties. Later, you have to save and reuse the component across screen or applications. Insert into the application for the components panel and configure its properties wherever you need. Guys, I am just a read from the ChatGPT actually. Okay, so you can see the entire text. I'm not technically expert in the Power Apps. If any small corrections is there, you can able to even change it later and submit the answer. It will evaluate and it will reshoot the next day another question.
When building a Power App, what are the key considerations for managing user permissions and data security?
Okay, this way you guys can able to try for at least 3 times set of completely free. Okay, I'm just closing for now. I can able to download the video and view report. You can see the view report. What is the question it's asked and what is my answer and what will be the evaluation score and the feedback. You can see the feedback. Here it's a positive feedback and from here it's giving the negative feedback also. What wrong with that? So the explanation was a bit rambling because I'm just reading, right? I'm not able to pronounce properly. So it's identified that it's not properly.
Yeah, this is really good. Yeah,
okay.
Thanks for
It's a completely
suggesting this.
own LLM and RAG. It's not just integrated with the kind of ChatGPT or something. It's a completely own LLMs. So we spent almost 2 years to make it this application. Lot many times tried only with internal people. We didn't release outside. Recently, we got on a fundraising for this application. Okay. and a couple of universities and colleges they are using. Okay, and the complete interview, if you want, you can take it technical interview and behavioral interview also, and resume analysis. If come to the resume analysis, you can upload any resume. Example, I'm not sure what resume, random resume I'm uploading. Analyze. So this is, I guess it's for data analyst, but let me try as a Power Apps developer. Okay, and I will take any random resume from Naukri. Let me know once you are able to face any issue. You are able to see the everything, right? The screen. Now Naukri also.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I'm taking one Power Apps developer resume with 2 years of experience. Sorry, JD, that means. This is the job description, right? Copying. So if you have the job description, the system will shoot the very better questions actually. Sorry, where it is. It's analyzing. You can see how many mismatching skills because the resume given for a data analyst profile, but all missing skills. Power Apps, Canvas apps, model-driven apps, only Power BI is matching. All other skills, it's showing like it's mismatching. Okay, that's the reason the score also it's got reduced.
Yeah, it's really good. I will get back to you, Mahesh,
Sure,
for this.
sure.
Thank
And
you.
later you can go to the technical interview. Now it will shoot question depends on the JD, not like a random resume or else random inbuilt questions. It won't ask inbuilt question. Every time it will change the questions depends on the JD. Imagine you have an interview tomorrow with the XYZ company and you got a JD. As of now, we observed around 40 to 50% of interview questions. It's whatever the questions it came right, the same questions we are repeating. The prediction will be 42% on average.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Mahesh. I have around 10 years of work experience as a data analyst, but and the last 2 years onwards, I'm working as a Power Apps developer. I'm good with the Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Copilot Studio, Virtual Agent, Dynamic 365, and SharePoint. So I worked on a different kind of projects and different kind of domains. Even this will give the negative and positive feedbacks both for this answer also.
You need to build a Power App to manage employee leave requests. How would you design the data model for this app to efficiently store and retrieve employee information, leave types, and request statuses?
Guys, anyone, what kind of difficulty level this question? It is easy or else difficult?
Moderate.
Moderate. Okay. So anyone try to answer? I'm not sure in the double device it may take voice properly, but if you want, I can give it a try. Anyone, guys?
First of all,
Let me 1 second. Let me start recording. Yes, you can.
we will decide how many data will be stored in the data source. According to that, we will select the data source for our application.
Yeah, sorry, it may be not picking, it seems. Let me try.
Okay, no problem.
I would create a separate tables for employees, leave types and leave request and using Dataverse or a SharePoint. Relationships and lookup fields content on the data, while status fields track approvals. Power Automate can manage the approval workflow under notifications. Maybe you can, I will share this link later, you can try by your own.
Users are experiencing slow load times in a newly deployed Power App that integrates with SharePoint and Dynamics 365.
What about
How would you troubleshoot and diagnose the root cause of this performance issue?
Is it moderate or else little in-depth? Depends on our question answer. It's going to be make it little more deeper or lower. it will try to behave like in a human, like on our real panel. Okay, I'm just ending now. You can take it even this feedback. You can give a try later, guys. So 3 interviews completely free. You don't need to pay any single penny. After that, for 50 interviews, it's around 199 rupees, I guess, something. You can see the introduction and evaluation. You can see, but lack of professionalism because of my 10 years experience. Ideal answer. My answer and the ideal answer. Guys, if you are practicing before your interview at least 4 or 5 times, there is a likely chances to clear your interview usually because you are building confidence here. From freshers point of view, aptitude, multiple choice questions, resume analysis, interview practice, behavioral, this is mostly for the final round of interview, second and final round of interview. Okay. So any questions on this?
Quick question.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, like, whether talk to professional, that feature is
No.
currently available or
No,
not.
no. We are working on it because we need to gather take the time of Rahul kind of people also. Simply we can't accept someone else, right? We will working on that part later, not now.
Okay, thank you.
So here some loopholes also is there. Maybe it may get a positive from my point of view. Maybe I may get a legal issues also. Reason example, tomorrow you have an entry with the Tech Mahindra. And while you are finding the professionals there, Rahul is there from the Tech Mahindra. You will likely chances to get his his slot, right? Usually people will feel like from the same company, if you are picking that person, there is a chances to how the interview pattern, unless maybe we will assume like there is some chance to get some interview questions, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's a positive from our point of view, but I'm not sure how companies will take, but we are preparing that version. Professional hire is going to be live by tomorrow actually, but just in a version, but we are not at listing any the professionals as of now. But within a week or 2 weeks, we will make at least each domain 10 profiles.
Oh, that's amazing. Why I'm asking this
Weekend we
question
are
is,
uploading actually by tomorrow, Sunday.
okay. Why I'm asking this question is I have an upcoming interview next week, and I just wanted to know, like, if I want to contact any of the professionals, how do I do about that?
Okay. First, you can give a try with this mock interview AI tool. Still, if you are not set, to be frank, I hear from my students or students like they saying, compared to real interview, this is too difficult, too tough.
Okay.
Even regular panel are asking some small questions, starter questions, but the system is asking very difficult questions when answering more. After 5th and 6th questions, it's going very deep.
Understood.
They are saying clearing real interview is easy than clearing this.
Okay. Thank you.
So any questions for Rahul or any questions for me, guys? All right. Okay, Rahul ji, maybe sorry I interrupted in between.
No, that's completely fine. It was so very important. Okay, guys,
And
look, a couple of
portfolio
closing
also
things,
we
and
have, guys.
yes.
Portfolio also. Let me share you.
Yes.
Portfolio in the sense, whatever you are preparing the dashboards, or else whatever you are making things, everything it should be like as your personal website. You can see one of the portfolio, her name, her resume, her work. You can see her self-introduction, her skills, and her one of the project. Okay. So yes, what others? It's another student's profile. Okay. So his projects, what kind of projects he handled, what's his certifications, his articles, his resume, his GitHub link, his LinkedIn, everything. So what I observed while making these project, right, these students got a more confidence. It's explanation by themselves.
Hi everyone, I am Neema. Today let me start by giving a brief background of my project, Fraud Detection Analytics and Monitoring Dashboards.
So while preparing this dashboard or else like this video, she take almost 4 or 5 times. So it's almost by hearting for her. It's made easy to clear her their interviews. This will also you can utilize for free. I will share that link. Okay.
This is for portfolio, correct?
Portfolio, yes. It's portfolio building. And you guys have to be more active on your LinkedIn than your other social medias like Instagram.
Yes, so yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sorry, I'm interrupting. So look, it's all about, how smartly you are selling. Look, guys, I'll tell you with my honest experience, and most of you will agree with this. Most of the times we have seen people with very average knowledge or honest knowledge has qualified the interviews and they're doing job, right? Now, try to understand they have done something different. Sometimes even if you are not that much technically active, still you might be a good candidate provided how you are presenting your profile. I've seen a lot of people on LinkedIn, and you might have also observed a lot of people, they have a very good presentation on their LinkedIn. So once I get the LinkedIn, let's say there is a person called John. Right now, I don't know the John, but John is a Power Platform developer. If I go and open this portfolio, oh wow, this profile big, wonderful, looks very professional. Job title look very professional. The experience and all the about me sections looks professional, right? The way he has presented is very professional. Look, I don't know that person, never met, but when I saw his portfolio, I started making a perception in my mind what kind of person he. Initially, I'm thinking that is a very good person. Definitely, I would like to talk to him. Look, that I'm deciding because his profile is forcing me to talk to him. So you'll have to be a very, very nice portfolio. Portfolio doesn't mean LinkedIn, or it can be your website, it can be LinkedIn. Mostly it's a LinkedIn. And you need to be active or participant. Look, you just try building some connections, right? Add people, just search Power Platform, just search people, connect people from different organization. Because what happens nowadays, people share different learning posts, right? You will get those. You also try posting something. You need to be in, the existence. So every day I open, let's say you are my connection, every day I open my profile, I should see, oh, this guy has posted something good. Seems like a nice guy and knowledgeable guy, right? Even if you don't know, even if you're copying and pasting also, that's okay. Even for that matter, you have to learn and then you just paste it, right? Be active, try to sell yourself, that later part when you will be given a chance in the interview room. For that, we need a different strategy. Maybe in the next session, we will talk what to talk in the interview, how to talk in the interviews, how to speak, how to lead the conversation, right? So every time they ask you questions, how to revolve lead the conversation, right? So those kind of things we can talk in the next session. But for now, yes, first phase, focus on selling your profile, because most of you have done the course. You'll have to focus on selling your profile. You'll have to play smart. You'll have to constantly practice. You'll have to throw your voice, because in the interview room, you might feel nervous. So you'll have to do some mock interviews like this, or there are a lot of other sources also you can use it. So you use it, speak a lot, record your voice, listen it using the headphone, try to judge your own voice where you are making mistakes, right? Try to access your tone, try to access the what kind of. So you just record, let's say you are explaining your projects, you record your voice and listen like how you are sounding. So, work on those areas. Right. Yeah, that's it. I think we'll talk next when we'll connect next. Yeah, Mahesh, that's all I have for now. There are no questions. Okay. I think you're on mute, right? Any closing questions, guys, before we leave?
Rahul, can you please share the document which you are sharing over the in the document? Yeah.
Okay, let me do that. So, Mahesh, will it be okay? You can send to them, maybe.
Yeah, sure. I will share with them.
Okay,
Anyway,
I'll
all
share.
the groups I will share these details. You can send me as in a text or also PDF file. So I will share.
Okay. Sure. I will do that.
Okay, in KSR students, you have an option to get all the resume building by one and one also. Like initially, our team will give you the sample resumes. Later, we will validate each resume and we'll make it the final version. And these details also I will share with you as a PDF. Okay. Yeah, thanks. You can share
Okay.
with me and I will send to them. Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions, team? Sahana, you have anything? And thank you so much, even on Saturday.
Yeah, sorry
that
guys,
you
it's
guys are there.
Saturday. So
Very
that means,
good.
look, these guys are really serious. Trust me, the
Yes.
people who are spending
Thank
their
you.
Saturday, and so that means you are giving it more weightage.
No,
So
thank you so much. I mean, the session is really useful, and it gives quite good insight and clear lot of doubts. So we, at least for me personally, I have a bit of clear idea where and how to start. So thank you for that.
Great.
Thank you for the session.
Thank you so
So
much.
the
for
one line
your
summary
inputs.
before leaving, look, there are two takeaway from this. One, a short-term takeaway. Whatever you have learned, try to get job on top of it. Power platform, that's okay. But in the long term, you'll have to project yourself little bit towards the pro code thing and little bit as a Microsoft 365 profile, not as a pro. Okay? All right. Thanks you guys, and have a good day and good evening. Good night.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Rahul.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Let me know, guys, if
Thank you.
still have
Bye.
any
Thank you,
questions, I
Rahul.
will stay another
Thank
7
you.
minutes till 9:30. You guys have any questions, you can ask me too.
Okay, I'm
So,
leaving then. Thanks, Mahesh. Thanks, guys. Bye. Okay.
Thank you.